are back for another episode of Get a Load of This. From the Silver Creek Studios on my end, I'm Jared.
That was lackluster, the end of that.
Well, you know.
Yeah, another episode of
Yet another.
Yeah, I'm not at Silver Creek again. We are
Remote.
being good boys and or socially distancing and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is getting fucking old, man.
I know. It's like Kristen asked me, what are you guys going to talk about? I'm like, what do you think we're going to talk about? Coronavirus, but I don't want to talk about it.
I don't know what else we could talk about. I have a couple ideas, but
okay.
Yeah, the coronavirus stuff, it's so hard. Everything you listen to is just, here's the thing. It's going to suck because whenever like actors and I heard Saturday Night Live's kind of come back with new material. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're going to do like, I don't know what everybody else is doing, just like everybody recording from their fucking living room or whatever, and do weekend update from Michael Che's living room or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's like whenever at some point, all these comics and everybody, they're going to be able to get right back out on the road, creating new content. And how many months are we going to have to deal with jokes or bits about this whole thing that we're all living right now, and we're all already sick of talking about? I hope that people are creative enough.
Yeah, maybe they'll realize nobody wants to hear about it anymore, or everybody's got the same jokes. So you got to tell something different. But
yeah, we've all heard it. Yeah, we've all seen the same. Talk about?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Something different, something other than this, because it's exhausting. I mean, I don't know. Not that I'm, the smartest guy in the world, but I'm certainly not even close. But it's got to be Trump, right? I mean, I'm way behind. He's right. So who's the doctor guy that he's got, that little Italian dude?
Fauci.
Anyway, yeah, Fauci. Yeah. But I think why it's so exhausting is because I think too much about it. So I got to shut down. Like we started talking about before we hit go. The soap thing. Like, does soap kill this shit? If it doesn't, then we're all fucked, and everything we're doing is stupid because it could be on anything, right? Are you going to Germex? Are you going to rub everything down with 60% alcohol solution to try to kill this stuff on everything you have?
Right.
Because that's possible. So, I mean, imagine if soap doesn't kill it, and you're like, oh, okay, well, so how do you get the stuff off your body? Well, you have to dip your body into a vat of hand sanitizer. And let me tell you something, brother. That's going to sting a little bit, And so then what? Now we got to rush on condoms because everybody's going to try to cover the tip of their dick so they don't get fucking. You got butt plugs are flying off the fucking shelves because nobody wants it in that orifice either. What other holes are we going to have to secure before we go down this path because we've discovered that soap doesn't work?
Well, and we talked about, again, off the air, but what is soap? Like, I mean, I know we know what soap is and how to make it, but like, is all soap created equal? Is the gel soap killing as many germs as bar soap? Is body wash killing as much soap as Dial or what? It's like, is it all the same? I don't know. They tell you, oh, wash your hands with soap. Well, who the fuck knows what kind of soap you're using? Unless it is all the same. Like,
is Lever 2000 going to do the same thing that Dial does, or like you said, body wash? Like, if you're using X body wash or Old Spice or something like, what's in that? Is there alcohol in it? I doubt. It's just soaps and stuff. I don't even know what the fuck what's in liquid soap, but that's.
Foam, I guess soaps, liquid soaps, bars. Like,
Dial advertises like Dial soap advertises like antibacterial, right? It says it right there on the thing. It's like Dial antibacterial soap. So it's like, well, maybe there is something in there that it does kill bacteria. Fine. Does it kill fucking COVID-19 though? We don't know. No. Why is nobody asking that question?
I think they did. I think they said early on that it does kill this. So whether they know that or not remains to be seen. Right. But.
Right. Now we don't know if mosquitoes are going to carry this shit. You just keep coming up with something new to keep everybody terrified so they all stay in their house so that they can get on with their secret agenda where they're fucking putting satellites into space to watch every one of us. Or maybe it's hand sanitizer has like little microchips, right? And then whenever you wash your hands with it actually gets into your skin, and now they're tracking us with these little fucking microchips. See, there we go. There's a movie there.
They get the big soap in their pocketbooks or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Procter & Gamble. Isn't that who makes all the soap?
Oh my God, yeah. Procter & Gamble makes everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, see?
It definitely, I mean, that's absolutely a thing that could be going on where, yeah, we know that this probably doesn't work, but Procter and Gamble is one of the biggest donors to, the blah, blah, blah. And we're going to take their money and give it back in the form of mandated soap purchases.
Right.
But I don't know.
We talked about it. Did I talk already on another episode about the homeless people being gone from New Orleans? Did I talk about that?
I don't think so. I don't remember that.
I don't know if I did
They're
or not.
gone? What do you mean they're gone?
Right. So when I went to get TJ down in New Orleans, we drove down. I drove down, loaded all of his shit up, and as we were leaving, we were gonna try to hit a liquor store on the other side of the dome in another area. And so I was like, "Fuck it, I ain't driving all the way over there." And so, but I got off at the dome, at the Superdome, the Louisiana Superdome, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just to turn around to get back on the highway to head back up 55 or not, whatever highway, just to get back on the road. You all right there, big guy?
Yeah, a little bush light went down the wrong pipe.
Holy cow. Sound like the whole fucking studio just fell apart over there.
Well, I hit the microphone with my headphones.
Okay. All right. You all right?
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, anyway, we're turning around at the Superdome, and I've been down there several times, and every single time I go by there, there's camps of homeless people. I mean, there's hundreds of them. And it was weird. And weird enough that I said to TJ, I'm like, "Where's all the homeless people at?" And he's like, "You're right. Where the fuck are they?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is weird, man. They're gone. They're not here." And I'm like, why would that be?" And he's like, I have no idea. And we thought about it, like driving around town, like by the college and stuff like that. You see like little clusters of them. Some of them are there by circumstance, and some of them are there by choice. Some of them are like kind of gypsies or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
And none gone. So I'm like, what the fuck? And then I was listening to that what's his name, Adam Curry podcast, and he's saying in Austin, all the homeless people are gone in Austin too. So it makes you wonder, what the fuck's going on, man? What's the government doing to all these homeless people? Then I saw a news article today. I forget what city it was, but they were talking about city council, conflicted on what to do with homeless population during COVID-19.
Right.
Like, wow, well, why do we have to do anything different with them now? Why are we worried about that?
Well, I know early on there was talk about the homeless population and whether or not they were going to be contributing to the spread. And I know, what's his name? Dr. Drew, the famous from MTV in our day. Yeah. He was saying not that would be a problem, but he said if it does start spreading in the homeless community, like it's going to wipe out the whole community. Like they're going to die by the tenfold compared to us because they don't have clean conditions and they don't have this, they don't have that. And so he was saying it out of concern for homeless people, not out of concern for the rest of us. Like, we can't let it get to the homeless or it'll kill us.
But you've also brought up a very good point there. So we haven't heard of a rash of homeless people dying. Right. I mean, they would have to at least get to the morgue, right? Maybe they didn't go to the hospital. Maybe they didn't check in with their general practitioner.
But see, I think that's the thing. That absolutely could be where we just won't hear about it because they aren't going to the hospital. They're going to sit on their curb somewhere and die.
Then someone's going to come pick them up, and we're just not, and they're not going to care.
It won't be a reported case. It won't even be. Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know, but yeah, I could absolutely see that where it just doesn't get reported. Because you have to assume if it's relatively equally spreading throughout the country, then it's hitting them too, But
yeah. Or Trump has built like a American Auschwitz for homeless people, and he's shipping them all off. There's a fucking tractor trailer full of them that shows up every day.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, they had to have gone somewhere. Now maybe they went wherever on their own. Like they heard about this horrible thing, and they all said, "Nope. Get in your hole and stay there," And so instead of hanging out on the street corner, they all went wherever, but on their own, or they were rounded up and sent to hopefully a soup kitchen or something, not, Auschwitz.
Right. Yeah. Well, I hope not too.
Yeah.
Hey, so are you off tomorrow?
No. Should I be?
It's Good Friday.
Oh, whatever.
It's one of the holiest of days, Jared. Come on, you should know.
I don't know. No, I'm not off tomorrow.
I am.
Are you? Really?
Yeah, market's closed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the benefits of the financial service there, brother. You know, I think the fucking banks are closed too. I think. Yeah.
I mean, we get the federal holidays, but that's not a federal holiday. But that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So it'll
anyway,
pretty much be like every other day where I'm sitting in my basement, you know,
yeah.
occasionally watching some YouTube and doing some work.
I keep saying I'm going to go on the back porch and take my laptop out there and kick back, do a day of war, or at least a half day, like do the afternoon from the veranda, if you will. But I haven't done it yet. And today was windy as balls.
Oh yeah, it really was.
Like I wouldn't have been able to survive it anyway. But yesterday would have been perfect to go outside and just kick back, grab yourself a cold beverage, maybe alcoholic, maybe not. And
it really is. It's kind of confusing though. Like I forget what day it is. I forget like, oh wait, shit, this is work day. It's because it's all the same now. Saturday night, Monday morning, Wednesday afternoon. It's all the same. We're in the same house doing the same shit. I'm checking them on my computer every so often and doing some work. And like, I mean, granted, on a work day, I'm sitting here at my desk the whole time. So it is a little different. But I mean, I go to the same desk right now to podcast or to come down here and play guitar or whatever. So like in that sense, it's not different. But yeah, when I'm working, I am working for 8 hours. But still, it feels like it's confusing.
So the other thing we're going to talk about is it's still kind of related to us being quarantined, but I think everybody's kind of talking about it is what have you watched? I know you're an avid television consumer.
Yeah.
But so are you sticking with movies or did you watch the fucking cat dude?
Right. So I did want to, I wanted to get into that. New shows, new channels, new podcasts, stuff that we've been maybe came across while being forced at our TV or desk. Let's see, new shows. Not really a whole lot new. We've sort of caught up on stuff that we had started. So we finished Better Call Saul. We finished
caught up on Better Call Saul because there's still new ones coming out.
Correct, right. Caught up. So we're up. Whatever's on Netflix, we're caught up. We just started again a couple nights ago the first season of True Detective, which we never finished. So we're watching that. That's the Woody Harrelson, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Is that on? It's HBO.
It's HBO. Yeah, we ended up signing up for HBO.
See, I'm telling you, man. It's HBO's owned by someone, Time Warner, like that, right? I mean, it's all fucking part of the plan. Because I'm about to subscribe to the HBO too because they got a show. What the hell's it called? They got a new show that I want to watch. What the fuck is it called? Something about fucking with America or something like that.
Okay, I don't know.
Hold on, I'm gonna find it. But yeah, there's other good shit. Like I know HBO's got a bunch of free shit too, but The Plot Against America.
Yeah. I haven't seen that yet, but yeah.
That was close. Fucking with America.
Fucking with America. Right. I started to get my Marvel fix. I started and just finished today the first season of, I think there's only 2 seasons of Agent Carter. So that's it was a TV series. Now it's on Disney Plus, but what else? I don't know. I haven't watched I've definitely been watching TV. My go-to lunch while I'm fixing some, a snack or a lunch or whatever, I'll go upstairs and watch one episode of How I Met Your Mother. So we've seen all of that, but we're watching it again.
Right.
So, but I've been doing more. I started watching Hiking with Kevin on YouTube, Kevin Nealon. Have you seen that?
All right. I've not, never heard of it.
I hadn't either. And so all the shit I watch apparently on YouTube is connected. So Bill Burr somehow got me connected to something with Bert Kreischer, and then Bert Kreischer was on an episode of Hot Ones. I watch Hot Ones. Then somebody else was on with Hot, and it's like this big circle of people who do the same shit. So, but one of them was Kevin Nealon. Apparently he has his own video podcast of, he goes on a hike on some trail out in California, like LA, Hollywood.
Right.
And he gets a celebrity to hike with him, and they just talk for about 15, 20 minutes while they're hiking. And half the time they're out of breath and they're sweating through their shirt and whatever. But it's pretty entertaining. They don't go too far down any one topic, and they're not,
So it's essentially the Seinfeld thing. It's comedians in cars getting coffee
essentially,
deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just it's the Kevin Nealon twist on it, which, good for him, I guess.
So
how many other dudes are going to try the same thing?
Oh yeah,
right?
I mean, I already was like, Ryan and I should go on a hike and do this. No.
No, I'm good.
Two things of note from that. Not every episode, but I'd say every other episode, you will see someone stop them on this trail and like try to get a selfie or whatever, you know. And one time in particular, he was hiking with Jack Black, and Jack Black had sunglasses on and a big graying beard and a backpack and just t-shirt and sweats. Like I have seen almost every movie of his. I was a big Tenacious D fan. I would recognize Jack Black anywhere, and I would not have recognized him. And people were stopping him like, hey, can I get a selfie? And I'm like, how the fuck do they know that that's Jack Black? He just looks like some dude out on a hike. It was weird.
Yeah.
And then the other was Alec Baldwin was hiking, and he had just had his hip replaced, and he's just wearing like a button-up shirt and slacks, and you can see him limping, and Kevin Nealon's just trucking along. And by the end, he's completely sweated through his shirt. His hair's a mess. Like, he just looks like a hot mess. And it was just pretty funny, I thought, to see Alec Baldwin like suffering on a podcast.
Yeah, he deserves it. He said, well, I mean, you know, and regardless of if you're a Trump supporter or not, he said something in the news today about like, if you vote for Trump again, then you're mentally ill. So look, there are certainly some mentally ill people that are probably going to vote for Trump. And, you know, maybe some people consider me mentally ill. I definitely have some issues. But there's a lot of really mentally ill people out there. It's like, why is it okay for him to say that? But if someone else would just say something negative about the mentally ill, they'd be, oh my God, you son of a bitch, how could you say that? You know, it's like, fuck, you know. But also to paint, we've gone over this before, like paint such a broad brush, you know. But yet that fucking douchebag gets a fucking pass. He literally like abused his children, right? I mean,
I don't know.
At least mentally. I mean, he treats him like shit. Didn't he make fun of his daughter, call her a fat little fucking pig or some shit like that?
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I want to like him because anytime I see him in an interview or whatever, he's really funny. He's really sharp. He seems like if you were hanging out with him, he'd be great to hang out with. But he's also a dick. He's very judgmental. He's got a history of whatever. But it's like I want to like him, but I don't.
I think you're right. I think what you want to like, you don't want to like him. You want to like his characters, and his characters are not him. His characters are other people have written a script and written a character, and he portrays it very well. And good for him. He's a fine actor. There's no doubt about it. But he's not that guy. His character, his personality is not any of those people. I think the truth is that he's a prick. He's not a good person. Goes back to the whole thing is like you should judge someone by how they treat the wait staff, right? And I think that's holds true 100% of the time. If you go on a first date with someone and they treat the waiter or waitress like a piece of shit, run from that fucking person. They're an asshole, you know?
Right.
You know, it's just not that you don't want to hang around the person. But I think he's that type of person that he probably treats anybody that he doesn't feel is on his level, if you will, air quotes level, he probably treats them like fucking garbage. And that means he's garbage. So
yeah. Well, if you see him on the Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld, he's really funny on there. And in that context and environment, he seems like it'd be fun to hang out with. But yeah, I'm sure he's probably putting on a persona, like you said.
Right. I've watched a lot of those Seinfeld ones. They're pretty good. I don't think I've seen the one with Baldwin yet, though.
Yeah, I think there's two of them. Maybe the first one's good. I started. Okay, so I watch Hot Ones. You know what Hot Ones is, right?
Yeah, I watched a few of those too. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I watch them a lot. And
that dude stumbled onto a fucking gold mine. I mean, he's a nobody.
Right.
He's a nobody. Right.
Yeah. For sure. And like the first season of that is so low. I mean, it's still low budget, but you can see it's even lower budget the first time. They literally just set up a folding table and they're like sitting around.
But now he's making, he almost makes a joke out of trying to keep it low budget. Like he looks at all three cameras. Yeah. You know, he does all the kitschy bullshit to make it like it's still season one and there's still some inexperienced shit. But in reality, he's a seasoned interviewer. That's very good at us, you know?
Yeah. I mean, to their credit, they haven't stepped it up to this massive studio with all kinds of lighting and stuff. Like it's still the same blacked out studio that, you know, but yeah, they've got to be making a killing off of that.
Oh, they got a show on
Right.
what is it on True?
I
True
did see that. Yeah. And I didn't watch it, but it was kind of like, okay, you might be jumping the shark a little bit here. But Adam Carolla was on there.
When they come to us and say, "Hey, you want to get a load of this show on True TV?" Like, I don't know, our fans might think we jumped the shark.
I don't want to sell out.
Faster than hell. Yeah, I don't know what our show would be about.
Well, Adam Carolla was on an episode, and at the end where he's like, "Tell everybody what you're doing," he's like, "Oh, I got a podcast. Check it out." So I was like, "Oh, I'll check that out." I love Adam Carolla, but
he's one of the OG podcasters. He used to have the highest rated podcast in the land, better than Rogan. He used to be the fucking king of podcasting.
And I watched / listened to a couple of them, and I couldn't. It's too. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. I think it was the other people. If it was just Adam Carolla and somebody good like bouncing off of him, it'd be great. Yeah. But he's got like 2 other assistants or whatever, and they're not funny. And he's not funny when he's talking with them, and it's just like, this sucks. But he'll get a guest on or something. You're like, okay, that's fine. But anyway.
He's a person. I think you're right. I listened to a few episodes. They're all right. He's obviously. I think it was good for whenever he was at the tip of the top of the iceberg, right?
Yeah.
But there wasn't as much competition. There wasn't as many comics out there. There wasn't as many podcasts out there. So he was new in a land that was kind of untapped, right? But dude, that guy is so fucking funny. There's a book. He's written a few books, but the one that I've read is I think it's like in 50 years we'll all be chicks. I think it's something like that, and it's basically talking about the pussification of America, which is a phrase that I used before I read his book, and he used it in his book, and I was like, holy shit, this fucking guy and I, we're on the same, we're simpatico, right? We are seeing eye to eye on this shit. I'm sure I don't think I invented it, but I heard it from somewhere, and then I heard it from him. I'm like, yeah, and we see things the same way, right? And but I read his book. It was hilarious. I agreed with like upwards of 95% of what he wrote in there, and it was just very well delivered. Truths about life and just being human today.
Yeah.
And anyway,
well,
excuse me.
What I've noticed with Adam Carolla is everybody, we all noticed this. He's very dry and dull and whatever, and sometimes very uninterested in something and just like doesn't give a fuck and is like, move on, whatever. But when he gets going on a topic or something does interest him, then he's hilarious and he's going into it with this rant or whatever. Some people are like Jerry Seinfeld is always the same, whether he's on stage or one-on-one conversation or in a group or whatever. His personality is the same and he's telling the same kind of delivery and whatever. But Carolla is not like that. Sometimes you're just like, this guy's the most boring guy in the world and you don't even care. But when he's funny, he's really, really funny and along our wavelength. But
yeah, I don't know. He's got another book that's called it's old. It's not old, but it's at least 5 years old. It's called Not Taco Bell Material. And the story behind the book title is that I think he applied to work at Taco Bell when he was like in his 20s or maybe late teens or something like that, and he didn't get the job. And then, like, they told him, like, oh yeah, sorry, we just don't think you're quite Taco Bell material. I'm like, how? And so that's the joke, is that, I mean, that really happened to him. But when he tells the story, he's like, how fucking horrible am I that I'm not even Taco Bell material?
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's like, how bad do you have to be that you can't even get a job there? It goes like with Chuck getting on at Walmart. I was like, what if they don't hire you? And he's like, oh, I don't know. That would be devastating. I'm like, yeah, man, because I've seen some of the people that they hire.
Right.
And if you don't get hired, they're like, what? Man, what the hell's wrong with you? Nothing against the Walmart employees. They're all fine.
No, I worked there at one time. Actually, it's the job I hated the most.
Really?
Well, that's not true, but it was a difficult time.
Okay. I got you.
I was working the night shift, and I was working in the dairy department, so everything's refrigerated and cold, so you're constantly cold. There's pressure you've got to get everything on the shelves in a certain time or it's going to spoil. People stocking the fucking napkins and toilet paper don't give a fuck if it gets on the shelf or not.
Right.
It's not spoiling. That milk and eggs and shit. You got to get that shit out there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway,
Chuck's,
is he in a
Chuck's
certain department?
yeah, he's in the lawn and garden.
Ooh, that's a good one to be in.
Yeah, I think he's in a good spot.
A little fresh air every once in a while.
He says there's this older lady that works there. I forget her name. And it sounds like she's a really sweet lady, but she's an older lady, and she she can't really lift. She's short too. She's like 5'4". Right?
So she shouldn't be working there, is what you're saying.
Well, she shouldn't be working a fucking lawn and garden. That's for sure. Because you got to lift shit, right? I mean, they got bags. Think about what's in lawn and garden.
Most of the shit back there's really big, heavy stuff.
Right? Yeah, it's like bags of grass seed, plants.
Yeah, lawnmowers, grills.
Why the fuck is she in there? And so Chuck's brand new. He's only been there like a week, and he's like, she keeps calling me over, like, Chuck, can you help me? He's like, what the fuck? You should be a checker.
Right.
You don't need to be back here. But she's really nice. And so he's like, every time he hears his name, he's like, what do you need now? And he goes, she's really good at watering the plants.
I bet.
Well, I bet that's pretty fucking easy, But she can't get the top. She can't get the ones on the top shelf, so she still has to go. Chuck, can you help me? It's like, God damn,
man. That's funny.
I mean, you've been through Walmart. You see this, the folks that work there. I mean, some of them they're fucking great. They're awesome people, and then some of them they're like, yeah. I don't know what you shouldn't be given too much responsibility. Not to disparage them.
Yeah.
They just shouldn't. I'm just being real. They're challenged in some way. But I
can
guess
you imagine being a manager there though and having to balance all that, keep track of these invalids,
fucking herding cats. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I think that a lot of the folks that I've seen that are, they're definitely whatever you want to call it, like slow adults, if you will. I guess, right. But they've been there so long, and they're just regimented, right? They're just, this is what I do. I go and I do. Okay, now I got to go do that. And so they're really good at it. But you throw a fucking wrench in their day, and it just fucking derails them completely, right? So there's one gal there, and I know if I painted a picture for you, you've dealt with this young lady. She's very short. She's kind of chubby, round face, like kind of pie-shaped face, right? And she's just kind of has this lost, distant look about her, and she sometimes works as a checker, and then other times she just kind of wanders the aisles. And I think when she's wandering the aisles, she's supposed to be like refacing the product, right? Like bringing all the stuff to the front or turning things and making sure it's all right. But I don't ever see her really doing that. I think that's what she's supposed to be doing. It seems like she's just wandering the aisles. But when you walk by her, she says every single time, without fail, every single time, "Are you finding everything okay?" To anybody, anybody and everybody that walks by her. And so she's just, she's trying to be helpful. And the leadership there said to her, if you see if you see a customer, you need to ask them if they're finding everything okay. That's the nice thing. She's like, okay, I'll do that. And then well, God forbid somebody actually says, no, can you help me?
Right.
That is the game over. She's fucking done. That breaks the program. It's fucking goes into 404, file not found. We're all fucked. Shut the doors. Close it down. We're out, So, I mean, we just can't fuck with them too much,
I'm totally going to fuck with Chuck the next time I can get out.
You got to track him down. I think he spends a lot of time in the back, he says.
Yeah.
Well, he's either in the back, like breaking down boxes and shit, or he's out watering fucking plants. I think he's got one of the best gigs.
It really is. I think that's probably one of the best departments he could be in, because everything there, it's all coming out of the back. So you do have to break stuff down. You got to probably assemble some things. And then, you're outside some of the time. You get to water some flowers, put some furniture together. Take your time doing it. Yeah, that's a sweet gig. Not a lot of people back there. He's not getting flooded with, shoppers.
Yeah, it's not like you're in the grocery. Like, so my neighbor's kid, I'm Ian. He works up there now too. And but I see him every time I go there, because he's working in the grocery section, like restocking, which is a constant, especially in this world. It's just nonstop. There's a constant replenishing of the shelves, and I've been there in the past 2 weeks. I've probably been to Walmart like 4 times, and every single time I seen poor Ian carrying another box.
How did Chuck get the sweet assignment?
I don't know. It's just luck, I think,
Yeah.
that what was open whenever, like, who knows how they do shit there, but there might be just a list of jobs available. Like, all right, next on the list, we got to hire someone for lawn and garden. Who do you got? All right, Chuck, that's you, and they just slot them in. And then, all right, next on the list, we need a stock boy. We need someone to put shit back on the shelves. All right, who we got?
I think
don't know.
Riley wants to apply there, actually.
Well, I tell you what, man, I don't think it's a bad gig, but every night when Chuck comes home from work, we have to strip him down in the yard and hose him off. We're not letting that motherfucker in the house with all its Corona clothes, So basically, yeah, that's the worst part of it, is that I don't know what he's bringing home with him,
Right. Yeah,
he's a
it's
little animal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you know who Bert Kreischer is?
I do. Bert Kreischer is one of the funniest dudes in the world. We've talked about Bert Kreischer before. He is the guy that they based Van Wilder off of.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we talked about that, I thought.
Did
one
we?
time.
I wouldn't have known who he was. If we talked about it, I didn't know. I've only become aware of him recently.
Yeah. So I've seen him. I've been a fan for a while. I probably found out about the same way that you did through Bill Burr and through just the comic world, just through comic podcasts and stuff like that. So him and Bill Burr have a podcast together. And
I'll say though, I don't think he's that funny. And maybe he'll grow on me or something. But
have you watched the specials?
Personality. Well, I did watch one of his Netflix specials. It was funny. I mean, I won't say I didn't like it, but his personality is abrasive. He's just one of those like kind of loud, in your face. Yep. Everything's hilarious. He's got a story that's like the best story ever for every situation that somebody brings up, and it's just like, okay, at some point, I'm a Bill Burr guy. I'm gonna like calm the fuck down, all right? Like,
well, Bill, his latest special, he was a little angry.
Yeah.
I love Bill Burr. I'm a huge fan, right? So, and I think this latest special on Netflix was it was like, and even Tammy mentioned it too. She's like, he seems angrier than normal. Like, it's not almost uncomfortable and not funny anymore, because he just seems like he's pissed. It's like there's a fine line, right?
Yeah.
There's a real kind of walk that tightrope to be, angry and pissed but still comic, and then you're just a fucking crotchety prick, So yeah, Bill's teetering on that line. I get what you're saying about Bert Kreischer. He laughs at his own jokes, and he makes a joke about that in his latest special about laughing at his own jokes. But I've said that from the first time I saw him. Like, he's great. He needs to stop with his plus his laugh is kind of obnoxious. That high pitched fucking cackly thing,
that wheeze, and it's like, whatever. Yeah,
I don't want to hear that. You just tell the joke. But yeah, some of his fucking stories are hilarious, man. And
yeah, for sure.
Now, you want to watch have you watched any Tom Segura?
Yes, and I do like him too.
He is probably, I would say, the funniest guy out there today, in my opinion. I mean, he's my favorite lately. I mean, Bill Burr's still up there, I mean, there's a lot of funny comics out there, but Tom Segura is just naturally funny. He's got great content. It's all very relatable, just cringy enough that you're like, oh fuck, God, that's gross. But you're not completely, you don't want to vomit in your fucking lap while you're watching it. It's like the perfect mix. He's just really, really well timed, good comedy. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's probably my favorite nowadays. But
have you seen where Bill Burr has his own YouTube channel of like, I forget what it's like, All Things Comedy, I think is the name of it.
Yeah. Right. And he's got
it's like a network
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like he's maybe trying to get some new comedians started and give people opportunities to do things, right?
Dude, we've talked about this before. I told you about this 6 months ago.
About his All Things Comedy?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think so, at least.
Well, I didn't run out right away and go check it out at the time, but somehow...
You're not even listening to me.
Well, here's the problem. I don't like it. That's what I'm getting at. So it's fine, but it's Bill Burr overload. Like, it's too much. He's in everything. So, like, he's driving down the street, and it's sponsored by Zillow, and they're looking at houses. Bill Burr shows you the houses of Hollywood or whatever, and it's like, and he's literally just driving down looking out. So this house over here, look at that. That's like a 70s style house.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that content.
Yeah. And some of it's funny, and some of it's not.
All Things Comedy is, like, if you follow him on like Instagram or Facebook or whatever, the All Things Comedy account puts out clips of stand-up from the comics that they support or they represent in some way. And that's what I think of when I think all things comedy is he's promoting young comics that he's trying to give them the rate. So with that, there's some bad and there's some good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good. There's not very many that are bad. But it's kind of like what, back in the day, Rodney Dangerfield used to have a young comedian special and that's how a lot of guys got discovered from the 80s. Like Richard Lewis and, there's all kinds of fucking people that were on that. Like Howie Mandel, I think, was on a Dangerfield deal. There was a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's, I think, what Bill Burr and All Things Comedy is trying to do, is trying to give a bit of a boost, a leg up to the young comedians, young aspiring comics out there. So his YouTube channel, I have seen a couple of them where he's driving around LA bitching about people or houses or whatever. Yeah.
And good for him. I mean, he's probably flooding himself and we're seeing too much of him, but what else are you going to, when you've got to strike while the iron's hot, you're famous, people want to see you. So you're going to put yourself out there and make money while you can. I get it, but it's almost like, okay, enough. I've had enough of him, but I love watching him. So I'm going to, then it feels like sometimes he's mailing it in or he's with somebody else. It's like,
I don't watch the car videos as much anymore. I don't watch as much Bill. I don't even listen to his podcast anymore. Honestly, I every once in a while I'll tune in, but I not regularly. Like I used to religiously, every single episode I would listen to, and just don't. I get kind of burnt out on it now. I don't.
Well, now he's
why.
got the one. I think it's called the Bill Burt podcast. So it's Bill Burr and Burt Kreischer together, and it's basically they stole our show. Basically, it's two guys sitting around talking about nothing in particular, drinking beer and smoking cigars.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
They
that's our show.
They're like, that's a great idea. What those guys are doing. We should.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. But whatever. I saw him playing poker with like 4 other comedians, and none of them knew how to play poker. And he said as much. He's like, I don't think I've played poker since high school, and I didn't know how to play then. And you can just see these guys don't know how to play. They're trying to just be funny, and like, I don't know. It was just like,
well, it's the thing about comics. They're always on. They're always trying to and especially if you get a bunch of them together, then it's always like trying to one up each other. And they know they're all funny. Every one of them knows they're fucking funny.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, who's going to push the bar? Who's going to pull their dick out first, right? Who's going to do the most outrageous thing? And probably, you get the wrong or the right group, maybe depending on who you are. And it could be amazing, but it also could be fucking ridiculous too, But
yeah,
I don't. Yeah.
So yeah, lots of new YouTube, lots of not new shows, but catching up on shows, trying out some shows.
See, I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I mean, like I know you talked about the Hot Ones thing.
Yeah.
That's not someplace that I go to be like, oh, I'm going to see what I'm going to watch tonight on TV. Let's see what's on YouTube. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Like the boys do that. My kids do that. But I just, it's counterintuitive to me. I go to Netflix or I have YouTube TV, which is basically like my place to like or Charter or whatever.
Yep.
Right. But yeah, I don't go to YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I'm going to. I still, if you said, hey, you got the night off, what are you going to do? I'm going to watch Netflix. But if it came down to it, if I got, for whatever reason, part of it is if I'm at my computer, I'm not watching TV, I'm watching YouTube. But if I'm in my living room, I'm watching TV, I'm not watching YouTube. So I don't know. It kind of just depends on where I'm at.
Gun to your head. Gun to your head. You have one choice, or you're going to be on a deserted island.
Yep.
However you want to go about this, right? And you got a TV, right? You're going to have a TV, and you can only have one source of content. So it can be Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus.
Yep.
An antenna.
Right.
DirecTV, like full package DirecTV.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, that's still shit. I mean, I think like go get DirecTV and subscribe to the full fucking thing. Maybe you have HBO there. I guess that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you going to count like HBO Go as one of the options? Can I just watch HBO?
Yeah, I guess that could be an option. But you can only have one bill. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah,
right?
one bill. That's a good question. Actually, I think it's going to be a tie between Netflix and probably something like HBO, or probably HBO.
Yeah.
HBO's got a lot of good shows, and they get movies. Netflix, I'm one of those people that's a big fan of Netflix. I know a lot of people that scroll through Netflix. They say they can't find anything that interests them at all, and they cancel, or they cut the cord, so to speak, from Netflix.
Right.
There's always shit on there that I'm interested in, but Amazon Prime, not so much. I really like Disney Plus, but there's just, as much as they've got all the Marvel and all the Disney movies and all the Pixar, there's not enough content. You run out of stuff that you're interested in quick. So,
Well, plus I've seen all that shit.
yeah,
Why do I?
right.
I mean,
Now, I do think that's going to change in the next year or so when new Marvel shows come out. I think we're going to start seeing some movies go straight to streaming when they can't break quarantine in the theaters.
Oh, right.
So when
how many movies are sitting on the shelves right now just waiting to get released? I mean,
a bunch of stuff's been pushed back. Yeah, they're just waiting because they don't want to lose $500 million. But yeah, at some point they're going to cut their losses and just go straight to streaming.
And then how do you recoup? I guess so. Like, we know that obviously Amazon and Netflix makes money because they create content and then they push it out. So they're creating the money they're making is off of subscribers, right? But how else is that enough to recoup the cost of making a major motion picture?
Well, it's going to have to be. They may have to adjust their models, but yeah, I don't know if like something like Disney, they own Marvel and they own Lucasfilm and Star Wars, so they can send it straight to Disney, and it doesn't cost them anything to put it on Disney Plus. Where Netflix has to pay a huge fucking license if they want to start streaming the next Star Wars movie, right? So
that's why they're just creating their own shit too.
Yeah, right.
They're like, we'll just make our own stuff. Amazon the same way. Amazon makes good content too, but
yeah. So I think if it was a big movie, like I forget what's coming out soon that was already supposed to. I think the Black Widow movie is supposed to come out soon in theaters, and it's been pushed back. So if they said, "Hey, we're going to put this up to the highest bidder," would Netflix or Amazon? I mean, obviously not, because that's a Marvel movie, so Disney's going to get it. But let's say it was something else. Would Netflix and Amazon bid $100 million or $200 million to have exclusive rights to that? I don't know. How is Amazon going to recoup that cost?
But I guess if they get enough people to subscribe because they want to see that, and that's the only place you can see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. And they've tried to do that, but
at some point, one of these or a couple of these are going to they're going to be the undeniable cream of the crop.
Yeah.
And because I'm not going to subscribe to all these things, so we did the Apple TV Plus thing for a minute because we wanted to watch the morning show with Jennifer Aniston and that other chick, which was good. I enjoyed the show, but then we canceled it because I was like, all right, I'm done with that. There's nothing more there. Oh, I did watch. What is it? Amazing Stories, which is like
the new one or whatever.
Yeah, really
was it good.
Really,
okay.
Yeah, really, there's only 3 of them. I mean, there's. So yeah, but it was like, okay, I'm done. I'm out of content on Apple, so there's no reason for me to continue to pay for that. Now I'm talking about the Plot Against America on HBO. I will probably do a trial, because I'll get like a week free, and I'll fucking binge it and watch the whole thing, and then I'm done. There's nothing else on HBO that I could think of that I really want to watch.
There's stuff, but yeah, so we did the same thing. Kristen wanted to do a trial of HBO because there was some show she wanted to watch, and I forget what it was. We watched it. We finished the season, and it was like, okay, we're done. And it was like a 7-day trial, but we didn't get rid of it. We kept it, and now we're watching True Detective, and we'll watch an occasional movie, and we'll check out, I'll probably start watching Game of Thrones or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the thing. You get sucked in, and it's like, I do want to watch that one show, but
the only one that like I feel locked into 2 of them. I feel locked into Netflix and Amazon Prime. I feel like there's Amazon Prime. It doesn't make sense for me to cancel it because I have a Prime membership anyway, right? So I may as well have the Prime Video. I'm not going to cancel all of it. I use there's just too much other stuff bundled in together, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for me to get rid of it. And Netflix, rather, there's good shit, and there's consistently new, unique stuff that comes out that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna hang around. I'm gonna wait around for, if they ever run out and there's like a dry spell of 6 months where it's like, well, fuck, there's nothing new here, nothing redeeming that I want to watch, then fuck it, I'll cancel it. But yeah, these other ones, I'll come and go as they have good stuff, but I'm not going to continually pay them $10 a month or whatever it is, or $15 a month to do it. Someone should do the math on that. Like, we used to pay $100 a month for direct
so
TV.
I'm that asshole now. So I am doing exactly the opposite of what I should do. I cut the cord on cable because we were spending too much. And now we have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. We've got Hulu Live, the $50 a month, which is basically like having cable. And the only reason we signed up for that was to have the Cardinals games, which now they're not fucking playing. Yeah. But
that's a great topic. We could talk about that. Yeah. Continue. Remind me to come back to Cardinals. Okay. Yeah.
We also added to our Hulu package HBO. So instead of having it as a separate like HBO Go thing, it's part of Hulu. Yeah. So I think it's the same. Like, we can watch all the same stuff, and then we can watch it on any device anywhere. So effectively, it's like having HBO Go, but technically, it's part of Hulu. Is that it? Did I say Disney Plus? So
yes, you did.
All of them. Like, I can't even think of like one of the mainstream ones that we don't have. We got them all fucking right now, and we do. Yeah. We kind of want to get rid of something, but Kristen, like, right away, her first thing she would get rid of Disney Plus. She does not give a fuck about Disney Plus. Doesn't watch anything.
What about like CBS All Access or whatever?
Yeah, we don't have that. We're not paying.
That's the only way you can watch Star Trek. I think.
We're not paying for Paramount or whatever they've got. But
right.
So she would get rid of Disney. I would probably get rid of. I said HBO, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But honestly, it would be Amazon Prime, except like you said, well, we're paying for Prime shipping and all that stuff, so that doesn't make sense. But I know a lot of people who don't even pay for Prime shipping, which to me is like, what? You don't? But then they're like, it's free anyway, and I usually get it in 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's true. Of course, now you don't. A lot of shit's taken forever. But
but I guess in a normal world, I don't even know what it would be like. I mean, if I were to cancel, like, how bad would it be? Would it? If I didn't have Prime, is it gonna? I don't know. That's a good point to test that theory out.
Right.
Yeah, I think the only reason I have Disney Plus is because I get it through Verizon, through my phone, because it was free. So for all Verizon cell phone users, they gave us a 1-year free trial. That's the only reason I have Disney Plus.
We're paying for it, but it is only $8 or whatever. It's not bad, 7 or 8.
Yeah, and in the grand scheme of things, when you think about it, it's like, how much do you spend to go see a movie? How much did you spend at the movie store when you used to go rent DVDs or whatever? $8 a month is nothing. As long as you're watching it. But
like, it does add up when you go 8 here, 16 there, 12 here. Add on the $15 HBO, $50 for Hulu Live. Yeah, it's like, whoa.
Well, the big one is that 50 one. So
we need to get rid of that, but we actually do watch quite a bit of Hulu now. We watch very little live stuff.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. So I pay for the YouTube TV stuff, but then I realized I'm going through. I'm like, there's nothing really here that I watch. What I do use it for is like DVR, a few shows or whatever. And it's nice to know where they're at, but I could do the same thing just going to like AMC.com or whatever. I could day later I could watch this fucking show.
What I have been watching, not a ton, but more than normal, is sports. So like replays. So the Cardinals have been playing old Cardinal games, or there was a boxing thing on the other day where they had like 6 hours of some of the best boxing matches of all time. It was like, this is awesome. But do I want to pay to do that?
Tyson fights. There was a Buster Douglas and Tyson fight that I watched tonight, and then I watched the '68 World Series, which was fucking cool.
Oh yeah, I would have loved that. I've never
seen the '68 World Series.
No, I haven't either.
And it was neat. It was Harry Carey was the broadcaster, and it was think about it. The '68 Cardinals, Tim McCarver behind the plate. Gibson was the star pitcher. It was the game I watched was Game 6, so it wasn't Gibson. And then we had Mike Shannon at third base. You had Julian Javier, or maybe it was Stan Javier, whatever. One of them Javier brothers was a middle infield, second baseman, I think. Anyway, it was a great team.
Yeah.
They lost, to the Tigers in 7 games. But it was because it was tribute to Al Kaline, who just recently passed away, a Tiger great, Hall of Famer, and so MLB Network was playing the 68 World Series, and so I watched that. I was like, oh my god, this is great, and then to the last night, I'm flipping through the fucking channels. And the 80, well, no, it wasn't the 85 for first. It was the 2011 World Series.
I had seen that. Yep.
The game, right? And so I told the boys, I'm like, dude, this is on. And so we all 3 of the boys and me were in the fucking living room watching Game 6 of the 2011 series. I'm like, this is fucking great. This is the kind of shit that should be on all the fucking time. So, and we watched the whole damn thing, and it was great. And same result. It oddly enough didn't change. So
you forget all the shit that did happen in that game, though.
Right. We're sitting here talking
good
about
and bad.
I don't remember them scoring again here. Holy shit! Yeah, it was cool. And then so they all went to bed, went upstairs or whatever. I stayed up, and I don't know if it was on MLB or if it was on Fox, but the '85 World Series came on.
Yep. Oh man, you should have if that's on again, text me, because I was going to say I would love to watch the '85 again.
That's great. I mean, Tommy Herr, Hernandez, it was. Oh no, you know what? It wasn't '85 World Series. I apologize. It was greatest games, and it was the opening day of the '85 season. It was Mets versus Cardinals I think it was at Busch. So it was Keith Hernandez, it was Gary Carter, it was Doc Gooden pitching, and it was on the Cardinal side. It was the '85 Cardinals with Tommy Herr and Smith and Jack Clark and Willie McGee, Jelani Smith, all the greats, right? I think Pendleton was there. Yeah, Pendleton. It was great, fucking great. So right now, the 2011 World Series is on Fox Sports Midwest as we speak right now. I'm not sure what game this is though.
Game 7. They've been doing all the wins. So Monday was game 1.
Okay.
Tuesday was game 3 or 4, whatever, and then last night was game 6. Tonight's game 7.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they got it covered up with their own fucking logo up in the upper right hand corner. That I can't see what the. But, that's cool though. God damn it! It makes you miss baseball. It's like, come on,
I know.
Shit. Let's get this stuff going. Here.
I was so looking forward to it. Like, not just spring training, the Cardinals, high school. Like, this was going to be the last year of us going to high school baseball games.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my god, what a tease! We're so close, and then it's gone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it still might happen. I heard that the Illinois high school sports douches, they were talking about extending the season or pushing it into the
summer. Yeah.
I don't know that would go very well because there's a lot of young men that pay for these select teams or club teams that you don't want to fuck them, right? So, and if the IHSA rules are that if you're in school session, you can't get touched by a high school coach. Well, you should never be touched by a high school coach. You get what I'm saying?
Coach touched me.
But yeah, I mean, so like, well, that's bullshit. Now you're fucking up. It's just a domino effect. Like, all right, well, in order to fix this old problem, we got to do this, and it's going to fuck it, and we're never going to get back to normal. It's like if they do start a baseball season, it's going to have to be shortened. I think. Otherwise, we're going to be going into November, December playing fucking baseball.
Right.
So that it's like how's that going to work? Now if you do shorten it, you don't have 162 games in the season. Now all of those single seasons, stats are asterisked, right? None of them are valid, right? So all these players are cheated out of a potentially, record-setting season because they're only going to play 140 games, let's say, opposed to 162. So it's kind of, it's just like fuck.
It would definitely be a very bizarre series or a season that we would talk about forever, that asterisk season, like you said, but I think it'd be cool. I saw somebody else said, this is the year to try all the funky shit. You want to have a designated hitter in the National League? We're doing it this year. You want to start with runners on second in extra innings? We're going to try it this year, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just have a completely fucked up season where you try out all the shit you've been talking about. You want to experiment with a robo umpire? All right, we're going to do it.
I'd be more on board with that than the softball rules and or what they call it, California rules for extra innings.
Yeah, I don't like that either. But
or even the DH. Fuck the DH.
Well, I know, but everybody says it's coming. I say fuck it too, but we won't have a choice in a couple of years.
Well, we will. Do you watch Brockmire?
Um, I have. I'm not current on it or
So
anything.
it's a good show. I won't spoil it for you. You should watch it. You got plenty of time. You got nothing
Okay.
else to do. Watch it. It's on. The fuck is it on? IFC? Yeah, IFC. I think. Um, but it's so fucking great because Jim Brockmire is such a fucking, just a complete fuck up. He's a
Hmm.
mess. But this season is all about. It's set in the future, and baseball is dying.
Hmm.
And nobody likes baseball. And the games are just taking longer and longer. The games are like 7 hours long, and
Okay.
they can't. Nobody can figure out how to shorten the games to save their life. And so all the owners are at the end of the rope, and what they decide the only course of action is to get Jim Brockmire to be the commissioner of baseball, and which is a horrible idea
Yeah.
because he's a fuck up. But it ends up being pretty comical. But all the things that they're trying to do to bring people back to baseball. But that's what'll happen if they do shit like, if they take the purity of the game, in my opinion, right?
Hmm.
For the baseball purists, the people that don't want a DH, that we want baseball like it was in 1930, right?
Yeah.
We want to be able to compare statistics to Lou Gehrig's statistics, or to Babe Ruth, or to Ty Cobb. We want these things to mean something. But whenever you start changing the rules of the game and modifying things, to such a degree, now we have no comparison.
Yeah. For
And I
sure.
think that's the purists out there. They want things to be comparable. I want to be able to, hold up, you know, uh, Derek Jeter to Lou Gehrig and say,
Hmm.
like, how do they stack up? Even though they played 100 years apart, we can still hold them to the same standard, right? Because the game is the same.
Yeah.
But when we start fucking with things, the game's no longer the same.
Hmm.
And so the point is that if they change the game too much, people will leave, and people will not like the game,
Yeah.
or they'll go, and start watching other leagues. There will be another league that pops up, whether it's Frontier League or whatever it is, that'll replace it, because
Yeah.
they'll be more adherent to the fundamental basics of baseball. Um, it's not too different than what the XFL, and the XFL is getting radical. My point was saying the XFL is that they're an alternative. So
Yeah.
as soon as the NFL starts fucking things up and making their product not as desirable, then all it takes is a replacement product that is more desirable to come along, and they'll take over. Not saying that's what's going to happen with
I
the
feel
XFL.
really bad for the XFL though. They
They had a bad hand, yeah.
they had a good thing going. I think they were building some traction, definitely here in St. Louis. The product I felt was pretty good. I enjoyed watching it. I mean, I wasn't like the greatest game ever, but I mean, this is pretty good, and you could see where they're going to get better. These guys are rusty, but now they got a shortened season. Their best players have declared for the draft. So like,
Maybe that's who this is all. We can blame all this on the NFL owners. They saw that the XFL was getting a little bit
they
too
released
good.
the virus.
And these are powerful people, right? I mean, you got fucking Jerry Jones, and you got that fucking asshole Stan Kroenke. You got a bunch of rich people out there that can they can make shit happen. And they're like, we got to do something to shut down this XFL. What do we do? Global pandemic. That'll fucking end the XFL season.
Yeah. What do you think of these people who? So we talked about, well, there's been talk of trying to get the baseball season going, maybe playing in Arizona only, having like a handful of stadiums in Arizona where all the teams are going to play. Nobody would attend the game, so it would just be on television. And there's people out there who are kind of attacking that, like, this is the wrong time. There's some serious shit going on, and you guys want to start a game? And it's like, I'm one of those people that's all for that. Yes. We're all stuck in our homes. Can we any normalcy?
Go back to Jack Buck's speech after 9/11. And you go out and Google that Jack Buck 9/11 speech, and he talked. I mean, it was a different thing, right? I mean, but we just had gone through a big event in our history, and he talked about why we should start playing baseball again. So for those out there that don't know that speech, go out there, Google it, and it's really good. It's one of the most heartwarming speeches. It's just very good, very, very good. But there's other examples of that too. Like when is it the right time for us to get back to anything? Well, whenever it's it's for the greater good, right? So yes, this is serious business. That doesn't mean that we can't enjoy ourselves. If you think that, then fucking throw your TV out the window and just go stare in the fucking corner. And, anybody that says, "Well, we got bigger fish to fry," fuck you. Then you know what? No joy having motherfucker. How about you just go find a hole to climb into and you wait until the fucking virus is gone.
Mm-hmm.
People.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's like if this is going to go on for a long time, if this isn't a 2-week, 2-month, whatever thing, then we have to find some way to get back to normal. You can't just shut everything down. You have to find a way to accommodate something, and entertainment is one of those things.
Right.
And there's a lot of money to be made and a lot of money to be given out. And I mean, I just don't know why you wouldn't try. Why wouldn't you try to get back to normal?
The same people have a problem with that. We had the iHeartRadio living room lip sync fucking contest on last week or whatever. Did anybody have a problem with that? I bet you those people didn't have a problem with that shit. It's like, well, those people. No, we watched a little bit of it. It was actually cringy and awkward. It was weird. It was, what was it? Fucking Backstreet Boys doing something all from their living rooms. It was weird.
Yeah.
They should have just not done it. At least the one I saw, we turned it off because I couldn't take it anymore. But their intentions are good. It's not my cup of tea, but they meant well. They're just trying to take people's minds off of being stuck in their fucking house and only able to talk to their fucking family. I got a goddamn gnat flying around me, and it's pissing
Is that what
me.
That was? You just smacked your forehead or something?
I slapped my hand. I thought I caught it in my hand. I wanted it, but he don't know where he went. He's fucking hiding on me now. I'm like, how'd that prick get in here? I'm in a fucking small office. The window's shut.
It's like when we had a fly in the studio last year or whatever. It's like, how the fuck did that thing get in here? Anyway.
Sneaky fuckers. Anywho, yeah. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, we're going to start seeing more and more of that. More celebrities putting their own content out on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and whatever. Everybody trying to be funny and clever, presenting from their basement and all this shit. And it's like, it's going to get old. It's not all going to be good content.
Hold on. I have an intruder in my office. What the fuck are you doing? What? No, why do you need that? Update shit. Oh, my God. I should have never showed you people that. Should have.
What's he doing?
So whenever I had the cable guy out here last time because my internet was slow, I said, "Hey man, you don't have any way I can get better service to other areas of the house because the router is through Spectrum. I just paid for them because it used to be that I would call them and they'd be like, "Oh, you need a new router." I'm like, "I just fucking bought the one you told me to buy, you assholes." And then they would, "Oh no, we upgraded our shit. Now you need this one." So anyway, this guy's like, "Yeah, I can't help you." He's like, "Well, what do you need it for?" And I was like, "Well, the boys are, they get games on Xbox or PlayStation, and their updates take forever." And I'm like, "But I don't think it's my fault. I think it's Xbox or it's the PlayStation network or whatever." And he goes, "Well, I can give you a big fucking cable." So basically drape this thing across the house and go all straight hardwired to the router. And I was like, nice. Why not? So he left me. I don't know how many feet it is. It's a big fucking long ass cable. But well, anyway, right after TJ got home, they were downloading something and it was taking forever. And I said, "Hold on." And I went and I got the cable and I hooked it up. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? What is this about? How I don't know about." And so I hooked it up and I guess it went faster. And now I have found this cable draped into Chuck's room. Just like because he wanted to watch Netflix at a better fucking refresh rate or something.
Now that would tell you it is the router. It's not Xbox or whatever, right? Because it's faster hardwired. I mean, it should be faster. Period. Hardwired, but
it is a little bit faster, but it's still pretty slow, even if it is hardwired into the router. And I think it is. It's PlayStation or it's Xbox, whoever it is. Yeah. It's not us because whenever we've been doing this and I've done a speed test and I'm like, dude, we're killing it here. 200 plus service, right? It's not us. It's
I'll tell you what though, we got a new router a couple years ago, and it's not a top of the line, but it's definitely like a multi-step upgrade from whatever we had. Multiple antennas, multi-in, multi-out, multi-bands. It's got, I forget what all the A, B, C, G, blah blah blah, N this plus that whatever. It's upgraded in many ways, and it's noticeable. Like you can tell everything streams faster, everything's HD all the time, never drops out. I mean, it's just like, yeah, that mattered. That was the best investment we ever made as far as high tech stuff in the house.
Now, is yours through Spectrum or who's your internet through? HTC or Spectrum?
We do have Spectrum. Yep.
Yeah. So you don't go with theirs. You buy your own router.
So yeah, we have whatever modem they gave us, but our router is our own Linksys EA something. But
I used to do that shit too, but I got pissed because every time I call them, they're like, "Oh, you need to buy a new one." I'm like,
nah.
"This is year-old assholes.
Right. Fuck them.
Just fucking bought it.
They don't know what the fuck they're talking
about." Yeah. So I just say, you know what? I'll pay the whatever $5 a month or something, and then if there's ever a problem with it, I just call on that bitch, and they come out and they put a new one in.
Yeah.
So I always get brand new shit.
That's probably worth it too.
Yeah, it's not bad. And right now, I think that's another thing. Another lie that they're all telling us is that before coronavirus, our service was good, but we weren't hitting 200 regularly. I think that they've jacked up serviced everybody.
You mentioned that, yeah. That now you're hitting 200 all day long. Yeah,
consistently, and I think it's because they just cover in their ass and they know that that they're a weak link in this whole fucking thing. That if people can't work from home, the whole thing just falls apart.
Now you did say, so my initial reaction to that whole thing, where they're like, "Oh, we're gonna boost everyone's cable and give free internet to homeless people and whatever," right?
Right.
And I was like, "Fuck all that! Come on." Well, you pointed out that, yeah, when you're working from home, you're streaming conferences and meetings, and your wife is doing this, and you need to have every bit of bandwidth you can. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess okay, I can see that. That's not the situation we're in. We're in the situation of, Dad, True Detective isn't streaming fast enough or whatever. It's like, okay. Right. Fuck off.
Well, and here, now you're going to get me back on the school district thing, which I haven't heard any blowback on that yet. But I'm sure they're formulating their response to my critique.
I'm sure they are.
They got a team of lawyers. But school starts again for these little fucking assholes on Tuesday, next Tuesday. Now, last I checked, they got 7 classes, whatever they got. So again, school starts Tuesday. I asked Charlie, how many teachers have you heard from on what is going to happen on Tuesday? And I think he said 4, maybe 5. But still, there's a couple outstanding. And tomorrow's a holiday for them. And I don't know, are they going to send the shit out on Monday? The day before, we're going to finally get some instruction on what we're supposed to do with these kids.
Yeah.
How you're going to teach, how you're going to educate the youths of America. We're going to get it a day fucking before because there's no standards on it. Furthermore, I've still yet to hear something from the principal of that school, or principal of any school for that matter. The superintendent has sent out his limited bits of information that hasn't given much detail at all about what's going to happen. Just that we will do this. Go to the website. Here's more information. And on the website, it's like, yeah, this is what we're doing. No Zoom classes. No virtual learning. They're going to send out a fucking email every day. Seriously?
Is that what they said?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, it could be email. It could be mail. Like, we're going to fucking let the postal service deliver some coronavirus along with the fucking day's lesson. What the fuck are we doing here? Right? So they're going to have snail mail, email, or God, I don't even know what the third option was. Oh, Google Classroom. So deliver it through Google Classroom. So, okay, fine. That's the only real, okay, you guys are using a little bit of your fucking nugget, but come on. If you don't need to talk to my student, then what have we been doing for the past however many fucking years?
Right.
And if you say, well, we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have this, we don't have that, the fuck you don't. You know that they've got a stack full of Chromebooks sitting in a room in the fucking high school. At every school, they got a stack full of Chromebooks. Hand them out to anybody that doesn't have one. And okay, so what if they don't have Wi-Fi? Well, you figure out a way to get them a hotspot, and they've already done that. They did a deal with the local telephone company where you get, I don't know if it's discounted or if it's free. If you don't have internet right now, they'll get you set up. And I don't know how long they're going to give it to you for, but they got a deal. They got a deal through the local phone company, right? So Okay, we've cracked those nuts. We've got a Chromebook for every student. We've got Wi-Fi for every student. The teachers should have Wi-Fi, right? I mean, I think, right? If they don't, fucking give them some free shit. We pay enough money in fucking taxes, and now we don't have to buy Kleenex for the fucking classroom. So give them a fucking Chromebook and tell them to get a fucking webcam set up and start talking to the goddamn students and imparting this wisdom that they've worked so hard to acquire through their years of education. Let's see some education happen. Let's see some dealing with adversity. Everybody else is doing it.
I still say it's not practical to accomplish what they think they're going to be able to accomplish. To teach these kids in a formal, structured environment. I don't see it happening. But
what you're saying is, what I'm hearing is, you can't be saying this, but what I'm hearing is that every degree that is earned from an online educational institution is garbage.
No, I'm not saying that, because I think that's different, because you're dealing with a more of a mature student. They're older typically. They are more likely to be able to have like a dedicated space to learn from, like whether it's an office or whatever. When you're talking about kindergarten through fucking 12th grade, like half of these kids are little fucking kids.
Sure, and I don't disagree. It's not there's no silver bullet for K through 12.
Right.
No doubt. Doubt. It's a different approach for K than it is for any other class, and every one of them's different, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe for the little guys, you send home a coloring book and you tell whatever, right? You figure out how to crack that nut. But for these kids who are getting ready to go to college,
right.
Let's get a fucking Zoom class set up.
I know.
Let's get a webcam. Let's figure this shit out. So I am being a bit selfish and maybe a little narrow-minded on my approach, because I'm dealing about my kids. I'm talking about my 8th grader and my 12th or 11th grader. And I'm worried about them. Not that I don't give a fuck about K through 6, or K through 5 or whatever it is, but it's a different approach for them. But there's a better approach probably than just sending home a packet of fucking worksheets.
Yeah. I just look at it like, okay, you got an 11th grader or 12th grader or whatever. They should be really close to being able to do this on their own. They probably already know the technology way better than we do. But now you throw in the element, okay, you got little brother in the background whining, or his class canceled early because they don't do shit. They're coloring today. Or you got the dogs have to be taken out, and mom and dad are both working. Dad's on a conference call with India right now. He can't take the dog out. The dog's fucking peeing on the carpet. It's like, oh my God.
You adjust, man.
Well, I know, but if this became a way of life, we would all have to adjust. But it's just like, when you look at it in the context of the school year's almost over, they're in the middle of their spring break. We don't know how long this is going to last. It's like, let's just call it a school year, and we'll figure it all out. We'll have 4 months or 3 months, whatever, to figure this out over the summer. And when fall semester starts, if we're still here, we're going to have this shit figured out. We know what we're going to do. Now, maybe right now you go, well, why not? Let's just work all the kinks out right now. And when the fall semester starts, we'll know what we're doing. But
I may have covered it on the last episode, and I don't want to get back on a rant again. But I've done the research. I've read the fucking statements on the school board website about this is how we do shit, whatever they want to call it, the school board bylaws or whatever. Yeah. It's very clearly stated that the superintendent is to come up with a disaster recovery plan. If you maybe don't call it disaster recovery, but whatever they call it, right? The superintendent is to devise this. And then this is basically saying like their plan is to say like, oh yeah, here's our plan. Superintendent's supposed to take care of that. Well, did he?
Right.
Did he do that? We don't know. That's not on the website. That's not anywhere. We don't know if he did it or not. And if he did, it's not published. It seems to me at this point, I can pretty comfortably say he didn't fucking do it.
Well,
and now here we are. Now that's not it. I mean, there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of organizations out there who this hit and they were unprepared.
Yeah.
Not going to disparage anybody for that, but fucking come clean. Say like, wow, we aren't prepared for this, but we're going to come up with our best efforts to make sure that we can educate your student, the taxpayers.
I have a question for you, but before I get to that, so I've talked to a couple different coworkers of mine who have younger kids, and one of them was saying their first grader has Zoom classes all day from 9 to 3, like a normal school day all day long. The first grader is in fucking online classes all day long. Another person said their kid has 1 hour of an online class, and it's just the teachers just kind of catching them up on everything. Here's what we want you to kind of look at. Let's talk about this, blah, 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 blah. Okay, an hour later, everybody go play, have fun, be careful. Where this person was like 6 hours of constant class. So everybody's handling it differently, I think.
Sure. Yeah, which is a problem. Right. Everybody is handling differently. But it also, it's like now it's like it gives you something to compare things to a little bit.
I wanted to know, have you talked to your friend in Columbia that started like a week ago or whatever?
No, I haven't talked to her.
I'm curious how it's going.
Well, I'll have to find that out. I'll have to ask the wife to reach out to her and see what's going on
next time.
The student, the example you gave where they're doing 6 hours of Zoom classes, do you know if that's a public or a private school?
I don't know. O'Fallon. So
that could still be anything.
Yeah, they got a lot of both. So I don't know.
Yeah, I just I'd be interested to find that out because it's man, I think that it's probably, if you go to you look at Kirkwood or Parkway or Rockwood, or whatever, pick a fucking school district, right? Or Fox. Some of these school districts they're doing Zoom classes all day long. They've come up with some other e-learning solutions or whatever. And then you've got the complete opposite of the spectrum, which in my opinion at this point is Waterloo, where they're like, yep, we're going to send a carrier pigeon with a fucking stone scroll of the lesson for the day. Yeah. And, if you don't get it, send up a smoke signal and your teacher should see it. And then maybe they'll respond by Pony fucking Express with the next day's lesson. And if you don't get that, well, then you're fucked and you're just going to work at the Walmart for the rest of your fucking life.
Chuck's got a leg up on everybody in that case.
Right. He's already in the door, man. No, it's just fucking, come on. They're being lazy. They're not doing it. So I'm telling you, man, there's going to be a school board meeting. I hope I'm still this pissed off. And I hope I'm aware of it when it happens. And I hope that they hold one. That's the other thing. Did we talk about this last time? The fucking city council meeting?
No.
So the city council meeting here in Waterloo, we had the mayor, and then I don't know how many councilmen are there, like 4, whatever, So the mayor and 4 other assholes. So these fucking geniuses who are running this city, they don't have the technology. They all probably got a fucking iPhone in their pocket, and they don't have the fucking smarts to we could just do a fucking city council meeting over FaceTime. No, they went up to the parking lot of City Hall, set up lawn chairs 15 foot apart from each other, and fucking put cones around the parking lot. Probably took the police officers off of some important shit to come put up cones to cordon off the fucking parking lot so they could have a city council meeting with 15 foot distances between each other and sit in the fucking parking lot. Now, arguments could be made that it was done for a photo op to show maybe it's trying to be funny. Didn't seem that way. It seemed like they're like, oh, this is all we know how to do. Let's just go in the parking lot and we'll just solve our problem. It's like, come on, you fucking use your brains, people. I know we're in a backwoods ass fucking town in the middle of fucking America, but you got bigger brains than this. We have technology.
There's probably some bylaw that says anyone not in attendance is not credited as whatever, so they have to meet or something.
So then the first order of business on the virtual call
to change that bylaw,
someone to make a motion is in lieu of the circumstances currently present, I make a motion that we rescind Rule 14B-5 until the coronavirus is fucking eradicated. Second that motion passes, let's move on. FaceTime's fucking working. It's not, these things aren't challenging.
I know. I think you get too fired up about whether or not people should have it all figured out by now. No, we shouldn't expect everybody to have it figured out.
I do.
Why? Why do you expect that?
I do have it figured out. I've given you the solution to all these problems.
Well, I know, but
I'm only going to talk about 8th grade and 11th grade. I'm not going to say I got to figure it out for kindergarten because I don't have a fucking kindergarten. Someone else's parent can figure that shit out for them. But there's enough smart people out there that can figure this shit out. But for my 8th grader, I got the solution. And I got it for every kid in this fucking class, even the underprivileged ones that don't have a Chromebook and don't have Wi-Fi. We've cracked that fucking nut. They don't have a private room. Well, you tell the parent, like, look, this is a tough time. I understand. Put down your fucking crack pipe. Fucking put your shoes on for a second. Walk over, try to coach your kid, and try to be a fucking parent. Try to take care of the thing that you shat out fucking 14 years ago. It's not just, get knocked up, shit it out, and hope for the best. You got to be a fucking parent now, asshole. Mm-hmm. Be fucking responsible for your fucking spawn. Don't just shit it out and leave it for somebody else to fucking take care of. Doesn't work that way.
What if you weren't working from home because your business is essential or whatever? I don't know. There's plenty of those people out there.
And make adjustments. So I don't know where you would take your kid. I think if I was a nurse, here's a great example. Okay. Mm-hmm. If I was a nurse, say maybe I'm a single mom and I'm a nurse. There's a few options. You'd either have to rely on family to take care of this child. Maybe you'd have to find some daycare center that was able to make some exceptions. I don't know. I don't know what those people are doing. That's another problem that someone else has to figure out. Maybe it's us at some point. Yeah, it's a tougher one for them. It's a tougher one for Nurse, Smith, mm-hmm. who has a single mom and doesn't have anybody else to take care of her kid. But you know what? We'll cross that bridge. I mean, we'll figure it out. But the answer is it seems like nowadays the answer is always, well, let's just do the solution that fits the lowest common denominator. Well, we can't accommodate Nurse Smith and her single mom lifestyle, mm-hmm. So we're going to fuck over 80% of the other kids that can be accommodated. That's not the right answer. The right answer is like, well, we're going to take care of the majority, and we'll worry about Nurse Smith and her son Billy, who don't have these means, or we don't have a solution for them. We'll figure that out. But right now, we're going to take care of the 80%. And that's the situation that we're in here in this town. 80+% of the students have all of the means necessary to do something mm-hmm. virtually. Can't worry about the minority right off the bat. We worry about the majority. And then we chip away at the minority. And honestly, probably a lot of them can be chipped away in big chunks. I'm not saying forget about it completely, but you can't forget about the 80% and say, well, they're all going to suffer because we got to worry about this other 10% down here, or 20% down here.
Yeah.
That's not the way to do it. I mean, the thing is, it's personal responsibility. It goes with everything with this fucking virus, right? Everybody wants to point the finger at somebody else. Well, they're not doing this and they're not doing that. Like, worry about you. Worry about if you are concerned about this, then wear a face mask, wash your fucking hands, stay in your house, stay home, stay home, do whatever you got to do. But don't let the police, if it comes to that, let the police go out there and tell people stop licking fruit at the grocery store. That'll happen too, right? And if there's other people out there that are driving around the streets or going to the store without a care in the world, well, if you're that worried about it, then stay home and let the chips fall where they may.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll get sick and something will happen, or they won't, and nothing will happen. But don't fucking worry about them. Worry about you. So the other side of this is that I have to practice what I'm preaching about, worrying about me, and I'm dealt this hand by the public school district in this town that I live in. So I'm dealt this hand, and I got to figure out a way that my kids aren't dumb at the end of their fucking junior year of high school, because he's not going to get the education that I paid for the last 3 months out of the school year. He's
mm-hmm.
not. So I should get a refund. We all should. Because what they're providing is not what we're paying for. Honestly, we could argue that what they're providing for years is not what we're paying for. That's another altogether.
Yeah. I guess I give them a little more credit. I have some faith that they aren't just sitting at home watching Netflix like we are. They're
like you are.
Yeah. They're doing something. They are just not having to share with us every single thought that comes across, and they're formulating a plan and they're going to let us know. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's all just they're shooting from the hip.
They're going to let us know an hour before school starts again on Tuesday. Oh, by the way, here's our plan. Hope you're ready.
Yeah.
It would never work in any other business. Any other business. I mean, if your cable went down, if your cable stopped working, or your internet stopped working, but you can still have your cell phone, right? Would you and let's say, okay, day one, you call up and you're like, hey, my shit's not working.
Right.
They're like, yeah, we're trying to figure out the problem. Okay. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, how long do you think? And they're like, well, we don't know yet, sir, but we'll let you know as soon as we have an update. Or call this number. We'll give you an update. So you call a day later, still not working. Next day you call, like, yeah, we still don't have an update. So the next day, this goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, like, well, we've got a plan. We're going to take care of it. We're going to take care of it. Well, when? Well, we're not sure yet, but we got a plan. We're going to take care of it. Well, what's the plan? Well, we can't tell you that, but we're going to take care of it. Well, like, at what point do you say, well, you know what? I'm not paying my fucking bill anymore.
Yeah.
So that's where we are here with this school district, is that we don't really know what the plan is. The plan, if you go read it, is, well, we've taken the guidance of the Illinois Department of Education, so they've come up with no decisions on their own. They've just taken the guidance, whole cloth from the Illinois Department of Education, or the regional superintendent too. I think has given some input too, and they're like, we're just going to give it to the teachers and figure you guys do what you want. You do whatever you need.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's not guidance. That's not leadership. That's not coming up with a solution. That's not doing the best thing for these students. And if we were to do that with any other business, that business would fail very quickly.
Yeah. I'm looking, while we're talking about this, I'm looking at my emails that we've gotten from the school. The last communication I got from the superintendent was a week ago today, Thursday, April 2nd. And that was the fairly lengthy email that he sent out talking about what the plan was going to be, but it was pretty vague. And in the last sentence is, I'll alert you when our remote learning plan and FAQs are posted on our website. And that alert has not happened. So,
but they have been posted to the website. If you were to go to, they're there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he did not let us know. So it goes back to what I was saying before. The communication is garbage. Mm-hmm. It is not good. And that's, like I said, he's a friend of mine, so I don't want to fucking blow the guy up too much, but I will go to the school. I virtually attend the next school board meeting, and I'm going to say, like, we need to do better. This has been abysmal. If you think that this is the way that this handles it is acceptable, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Take any business, not even a critical one. Like, if Walmart was to shut down and like, well, we're just going to keep it shut for a while. We're not, we can't tell you why, but we got a plan. We're going to come back. Don't worry. But, well, how long are you? So where am I going to get my toilet paper? Well, don't worry about that. We'll let you know. We'll let you know as soon as we have more information. You just don't worry about it.
And then not let you know when they get,
right. And then, so what are you going to do? You're going to go to the next place to get your fucking toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to wait around for those assholes to fucking let you know. You're going to find someone new, and you're going to be pissed off because they fucked you. So, I mean, but we give these people a pass. We give public educators and that system a pass because, well, they're doing God's work, and they're good people. Fuck you. Yeah, some of them are. Some of them are fucking salt-of-the-earth individuals. Some of them are assholes who shouldn't be in the fucking position they are, and they're not doing a good job, and they should be held accountable. Not saying they can't do a good job. They certainly probably could do a good job, but they're not held accountable, so why would they do a good job? They're just going to keep fucking sucking at their job until someone leaves, until everybody says, well, I'm going to go move over here because they know how to do shit.
Mm-hmm.
No joke. I told my wife and my parents, told my kids, I was like, I'm seriously considering selling this fucking house, moving over to Lindbergh School District because they're doing shit right. Go over to Kirkwood, go over to fucking Parkway or Rockwood. These guys, they're doing shit right. We are not. And the most laughable thing, which it'll be interesting to see the reviews after this whole fucking shit show, the most laughable thing is that Waterloo School District won some fucking award for the state of Illinois, best district in the state of Illinois. It's like, on what scale?
I don't know. I feel like you're shortchanging our school district a little bit. I mean, I know you've had like long-standing issues with our school system, but they tend to crank out some pretty accomplished students.
Yeah, is it a result of the teachers and the institution, or is it a result of the parenting and the student itself, and just nature versus nurture kind of thing? I would say it's probably the nurturing of the parent is much more so than it is the education system. And also, by that argument, what percentage of students are shit that go on to do nothing, or that go on to be a fucking meth dealer? We don't talk about those. We don't. Sure. No one wants to bring that shit up. But there's a bunch of those too, right? So You know,
Yeah.
and whose fault is that? I'm not going to say that's the teacher's fault. That's certainly not the teacher's fault that there's a fucking meth dealer that comes out of the high school. That's not their fault. That's a parenting thing. That's an upbringing. That's a lot of lessons that got missed along the way from 0 to 20 years old or 18 years old, whatever. There's a lot of things that got skipped over and got fucking, lost in the shuffle there, right? So it's not the teacher's fault. But also, you have to take that same approach whenever you find the successful kid. My kid, for example, who's doing very well for himself, and I couldn't be prouder of him. Is that because of Waterloo High School? No. I mean, certainly there were some teachers that had a great impact on him, an immense impact on him, and did him very well. But a lot of it is because A, he's just by nature smart. B, he's got two parents that were engaged in his education from age 0 to age now, and that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure.
So I don't think it would have made a difference if you'd have been in Kirkwood or Rockwood or Waterloo or Dupont or Belleville East, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I give him more credit. I know that the parenting is a big factor, but I think you have to be in an environment to learn. And if you aren't, it doesn't matter how great your parenting is. If you're in a shitty environment and you aren't getting some kind of adequate teaching and overall education, then it's going to really suck. And so the fact that they crank out a lot of good students, they get a lot of good marks, so to speak, as far as the school goes, I think they're probably doing something right compared to a lot of other schools, parenting or not. I know you don't agree, and I could be changing my mind probably.
I don't disagree that there's not good students that come out of it, and I don't disagree that they get good marks. My questions would be, what are these marks based on? Like, what's the scale? Like, what's our benchmark? Is our benchmark Chinese students? Well, then we know we suck, right? Is our benchmark a private school down the street in Waterloo? I think we probably still suck if we were to really put apples to apples here, right? And say like, all right, we got a bunch of graduating seniors here, and we got a bunch of graduating seniors here. What are we doing? How are they stacking up? Are those kids smarter because they go to the private school? I don't think so. The parents just have chose for them to have a Catholic education or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But why the difference? Are the students in Rockwood, is that a smarter population that's feeding that high school? I would say no. So let's compare not just test scores, but let's compare like the long term. Let's put some fucking science behind this shit, right? Long term. How many of these students went on to go directly to college, finish in 4 years, enter the workforce, and what's their average salary? And at 6 years postgraduate of high school, post high school graduate, 6 years out of high school, what are they doing? Where are they at? Then 10 years, what are they doing? Where are they at? And let's really look at these numbers. Let's see what are we pumping out here?
Yeah.
And also you have to find a way to control for all these other unwanted variables, right? So I mean you got derelict fucking kids, right? So you got to take the outliers out of the mix, right? So then you can really get a look at what the education system is doing. But nobody's willing to do that. Nobody wants to hold anybody accountable in education.
You ought to probably move to another town or at least another state. I mean,
if I make it through the next 4 years, then I don't have to worry about it.
Well, I know, but you wouldn't have to worry about the next 4 years if you lived in Kirkwood or something.
Well, that's true. No, it's a legitimate conversation.
I mean, a lot of people say that, oh, you don't like your job? Get a different job. You don't like your town? Move. You don't like your school? It's like, well, that's easier said than done, right? Not everybody can just sell their house and get what they need out of it or whatever.
Sell their house.
Yeah. What's that?
Everybody could sell their house.
Well,
yeah,
right. But I mean,
you're not getting looking for.
You might be upside down or something. I mean, in that case, you almost can't. But and you might not be able to move to the town that you want to move to for the price that it costs. Not everybody. What if you want to live in Ladue? Well, guess what? I can't afford to live in Ladue. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I agree that we have not seen a lot of communication from our school district. Again, like I said, I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're not twiddling their thumbs, but maybe they are. It does seem odd that we're about to go into the first week of online classes and we haven't gotten a whole lot about it.
Certainly looks like twiddling. And so even if they aren't, so look, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not twiddling. But I'll say this: if you're not, wouldn't you want people to know that you're not?
I guess.
So why don't you communicate so that we remove that doubt? It's that simple. Send a couple emails and say, hey, we're not sitting here with our thumb up our ass. We're actually doing shit. It goes back to whenever this thing first popped off. It's like you can either tell people like, yeah, we know there's some shit going on.
Yeah.
We're waiting to hear from the governor, or we're waiting to hear from the Illinois Department of Education. Instead of nothing.
It does seem weird that they put this learning plan out there on their website and didn't send out through the normal notification, which is email. They didn't send out an email telling everybody, hey, here it is. But even this isn't really a plan. I mean, it's kind of a plan, but it basically says each teacher is going to have their own. They might use Google Classroom. They might use email. They might mail you something. They might do this. It might go this long. It might go that long. The one thing they said that's clear is that your grade can't go down. So,
that's also fucking stupid.
Well, yeah.
So what are we doing then? So none of it matters. So
I guess it could go up, but
sure. But so what they're saying,
and you could get an incomplete, which you have to complete your all assignments, but to not have an incomplete for the semester. That's kind of a big deal.
These kids going to try?
Right?
Are they going to work?
They're just going to take the grade they already had. No. Which is what I said. Like, this isn't practical to make this work. Well, okay, let's flip it around. The grades do matter. You better fucking try. Is that fair? Like, I don't know. I don't think so.
Why isn't it fair?
Because not everybody's in the same situation.
Hold them accountable. If there's special circumstances where, again, we'll go back to Nurse Smith, who then that student comes into the teacher, or Nurse Smith takes one of her breaks and calls the teacher and says, look, I really appreciate if you give Billy a little bit of fucking extra leeway. I'm all he's got. I'm working fucking, every night of the week because I'm trying to save people's lives because of coronavirus. Mm-hmm. He's dealing with some shit. I'm trying to find a place for him that's comfortable for him to learn. If you could give him a little bit of a break, I'd appreciate it. Mm-hmm. That's fine. That's fucking fine. But don't, because we're worried about Billy Smith and his single mom nurse, don't say, well, everybody can just fucking screw off for the next 3 months. That's not the right approach. That's not teaching accountability.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, that's how it is now. The public school system now, and private school probably, is catered to the least common denominator. Everybody's going to have this situation, and it caters to the slowest kid and the poorest kid and the this and the that. Like, that's how it is now. Why are we complaining suddenly that, we've got to not forget about the smart.
I've been saying that for quite some time. Maybe not on this podcast, but I've been saying it for quite some time that we need to stop teaching the lowest common denominator. And look, I'm all for taking care of every student, and making sure that there's an environment that's suitable for every student. But there's the slow learner, right? The developmental disabled, if you will, student. Jesus Christ, the development disabled student that shouldn't be in 5th grade with the rest of the kids. Just shouldn't. And then in 1985, when I was in 5th grade, there was a class. There was a special school class. And so the kids that were delayed, they went there. Mm-hmm. And that way, all the other kids were able to keep going at the fastest pace possible. And we didn't all have to slow down because we had that one kid. Now, I'm not bashing that fucking kid. Honestly, it's a detriment to that kid to make him go into the class with all the other kids and expect him to be able to keep up. Mm-hmm. That's not fair to him or her,
Right.
But that's what we're doing. And I've been saying this for fucking years.
I mean, I agree.
The special school district needs to be brought back the way that it was whenever we were growing up, that we not to, there needs to be some socialization between these groups. But for the most part, if you're teaching math in 5th grade and there's some kids that don't fucking get math, well, pull them out so that most of the kids can forward as fast as possible learning their fucking timetables, and these other kids that can't get it, well, you figure out another way for them, right? Mm-hmm. We're gonna put them over here. Same thing with writing or reading. I mean, you cater things to the. You don't bring everybody back to the. It's the whole herd mentality, right? We're all gonna die because one guy with a limp in the back. No, the fucking guy with the limp's gonna die. Everybody else should just run as fast as they can. Right. I mean, that's horrible. That sounds like fucking terrible stuff, but it's true. There's no way around it, man. We can't worry about the weakest link. We've got to keep marching
Ryan,
forward.
the fucking kid with slow internet and divorced parents and blah 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 is gonna die. That's what's gonna happen, and you don't care, Ryan.
Yeah,
He's gonna die on your his blood's on your hands.
We're talking about Billy Smith, our hypothetical nurse's son. Yeah, fuck Billy. I mean, look, because I'm worried about me and mine. That's the honest to God truth. I mean, I don't want the kid to die, and I'll do my best to save any kid like that. But first and foremost, I'm going to make sure that me and my kids and my family is right. I'm going to worry about that first, and everybody should do that.
Yeah,
everybody should do that. Even Nurse Smith, like she should be like, oh fuck, I fucked this up. I got to do better for Billy, and she probably should have been thinking about it before fucking COVID-19 happened. I mean, it sucks. It's a shit situation for Nurse Smith, and there's real Nurse Smiths out there in the world right now dealing with this kind of shit. And I don't want this for them at all. I feel bad for them, but yeah, you got to figure it out. And yeah, you should make plans for this kind of thing. What if this? Look, you want me to get? I don't know, but what time are we at here?
We're almost 2 hours in. So.
All right, you want me to get real fucking controversial here? So this goes to like single parent thing, right? There's a lot of people out there that are advocates for like, we'll just call them what they are. We'll call them feminists, right? You don't need a man. All you need is the seed. You just, you don't, why don't you just go and get a sperm donor and you can do this all by yourself? It's like, well, how's that working out for you now? When you don't have a good system of support around that child, you do it by yourself now. When the going gets tough. Whenever things get a little bit off kilter, yeah, sure, in a perfect world, when there's all these systems set up that'll help you fucking muddle through, and whether it's government or church or schools or whatever, it all works great. But whenever the first fucking bump in the path comes along, what happens then? Well, that's why you should plan. You should hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there, the Nurse Smiths, that they weren't prepared for the worst, and now now they're stuck, and it sucks. And yeah, as a society, now it's our responsibility to figure out how to help the Nurse Smiths of the world, or the whoever's, right? Whoever's in trouble. And we will. And as a society, we will figure out how to help those people out. And we'll move on. But wouldn't it be great if we didn't have to? If everybody took the personal responsibility to figure out this shit on their own, and to make sure that they had enough things in place to prepare for these types of adverse situations.
Yeah.
I think that's the ideal solution.
But again, that's the world we live in of, government funded this and tax programs for that and free this and healthcare that and blah, blah, blah. Nobody's doing shit on their own.
And that's exactly right. That's why we need to stop doing that shit. We need to take away these safety nets. The Cardinals just won the World Series in 2011, by the way. They're all piling on.
What a team. What a ride.
But yeah, I mean, that's the problem with these programs. That's the problem with this history that we have, is that we've made people too dependent. And then, like I said, when the going gets tough, whenever shit hits the fan, then what? Now people, well, I can't do this by myself. Well, exactly. You can't. And we should have.
Well, and I still say, I go back to, what are we going to do when this is nothing? What are we going to do when a real fucking pandemic breaks out where you can't interact with anybody or you will die? You can't inhale in this room or you will catch whatever and bleed out in 3 days. Yeah. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't fucking get tap water out of the tap because it's infected too. What are we going to do when shit really hits the fan? This is nothing.
Digging a lot of graves. That's what we'll be doing. A lot of people will die. And then that's the simple truth of it. It sucks. And maybe me. I'm overweight. I'm high risk, I mean, maybe you. I mean, who knows? But yeah, people will die. There's no way around it. And whenever the government shuts down, or whenever we realize that, like, okay, we can't keep printing money and making shit happen. People are going to have to realize that life sucks, and people will have to start making real sacrifices, not just, oh my God, I can't see my friends. No, real fucking sacrifices. Mm-hmm. Like, oh my God, I just lost my family.
Yeah.
Oh my, I don't have food to eat. I have to go kill a fucking feral hog. Those are real fucking sacrifices, right? not just, internet's slow. I can't download the latest update to Call of Duty. Fuck you. You don't know fucking sacrifice. It's a tired meme now. It's three weeks old or whatever. With this whole fucking thing, when this thing started, people were one of the memes was like, our the greatest generation, our grandparents, their sacrifice, their World War II, World War I sacrifice was they were sent off to war for several years at a time. Not even like 1 year tours of duty. They were sent over there for 3 fucking years.
Right.
The cold in losing fucking toes to gangrene.
And a lot of people, like a high mortality rate. I mean, a lot of people died. Yeah.
A lot of people died. That is true sacrifice. And it was to fight an enemy that we didn't fully understand until it was all over. Now in hindsight we realize, like, oh yeah, glad we did that, because Hitler was a motherfucker killing all the Jews. That was bad. But we didn't know that. They didn't know that's why they were there.
Right.
They were against fascism. We're like, well, we're going to stop this fascist motherfucker because he's doing some crazy shit.
Can you imagine going into all of that not knowing everything that you were fighting for? Like,
right,
Jesus.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But they did. They did. They sacrificed everything. Many of them sacrificed their life. That's true fucking sacrifice. We're being asked to sit on our couch, and that's the me, right? We're being asked to sit on our couch. This is no sacrifice. This isn't bad. I mean, I sit here and bitch about dealing with my fucking family every day. It's like this, grand scheme of things, I should be happy. All of us should be pleased as punch that we're able to spend this amount of time with our family. We should take it for what it is.
Yeah, but I guess it's easy for me and you to forget about the people who can't work from home, but are still sent home. Like, they aren't working. They're not getting paid. They're sitting on their couch worrying about their bank account being depleted and their rent isn't getting paid or their mortgage isn't getting paid. Or they are wondering, how are they going to buy food next week for their kid? That shit. I'm not even thinking about that at all. I'm working a full 40-hour week, getting my full salary. It's not a problem at all. And I feel guilty, honestly, a little bit when I stop and think about it. Because, fuck, my sister's sitting at home not working and not getting paid. And it's like, yeah, she's going to be fucked if this goes on for 6 months or whatever. And a lot of people are in that boat. I think it's easy to think that, well, most people are working from home. It's like,
let me ask you this, and I know your sister, and I like your sister. She's a nice person, and I know what she does for a living, and I know, she's definitely impacted by it. I mean, she can't do her job,
right?
But at what point does she say, well, can't do that, I better go find something else to do? And so what even if it's the last thing she wants to do, I guarantee she doesn't want to work in the fucking lawn and garden department at Walmart. But if that's what it comes down to,
you do what you got to do. But I'm saying, I mean, my 2 of my best friends are both dentists. They've both closed up their offices. Half their staff have filed for unemployment, if not all of them. They don't know what they're going to do if this keeps going. Like, they've got a fucking building to pay for, equipment to pay for.
I think they're considered a small business on this government program, right?
Yeah, so I'm sure something will come along to help them through it, but it's like, it's not just sunshine and lollipops, right? Oh, we'll just sit home and hang out with the family. It's like, they're fucking stressed. The one guy is like rationing his food and making sure we pull from the front expiration dates and shit like that. Because he's like, we got no money coming in. So, I mean, he's okay.
I mean, that's good rules, period, right?
Well, it is, right. But I'm not thinking that. I look in the fucking pantry, I go, Cheez-Its, sweet, give me. And, I don't care when they fucking expire. Because I can go buy the next box. Because nothing changed.
Send that dude some fucking Cheez-Its.
I know. I've talked to Kristen about it. I've said, hey, you know what? We probably ought to take care of family first, like if we need to help out with your parents or my mom or our siblings or whatever, let's do what we can. And then our friends, and like, I want to do a little bit. Now she's kind of like, fuck them. We've got to take care of ourselves.
That a girl.
Throw her under the bus. But, yeah, I mean, cause honestly, but that's the thing is like, some of us are barely affected by this and it's real easy to just be like, whatever. And other people are like, legitimately stressed out about it, and I get it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I actually have a doctor appointment tomorrow. Believe it or not. Get this. You like this? I know we're over time. We're way over time.
Please tell me it's a proctology.
It is. It's a virtual proctology
exam. We were just joking about that.
I'm going to put the camera. I'm going to put my phone up my ass. First, I'm going to start.
Do you have a set of barbecue tongs? Here's what you got to do.
I'm going to start a Google Duo video chat, a FaceTime deal there, and I'm going to just cram the phone square up my ass with the flash on.
Insert,
And
turn 90 degrees.
yeah, see what happens. No, actually, it's
God.
it's my CPAP doctor.
Yep.
So this kind of goes to show how kind of bullshit it is, because I don't really need to see this dude, but I need to so that I can continue to get supplies for my CPAP machine.
Well, okay.
Then I can't claim them on my insurance, and insurance will stop paying for them. So I got to see this prick like every 6 months or a year or whatever. I think it's 6 months,
Mhm.
so that basically insurance will continue to cover my CPAP, mask and cushions, all this shit. So they called me last week. They're like, yeah, so we're not having any office visits. Would you mind doing a virtual visit? I'm like, why don't we just do virtual all the time?
Uh-huh.
I don't want to come to see you. I have no use in that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, fucking right. Let's do this shit. So they're going to call me tomorrow, video call at I think 10:30. No. Yeah, 10:45. They're going to call me via Duo because I have a Android phone because I'm not a cool kid. And but I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. This is great.
Yeah.
I'm happy as hell about it. I think that's
going to be one of those things that life is going to change in a lot of ways like that. I think education's going to change. It's, with college especially. There's going to be a lot more online college education. There's going to be a lot more work from home. There's going to be a lot more virtual meetings and shit, virtual doctor's appointments.
TJ got an email tonight, I think, actually, from Tulane, and I'm not sure why he got it, but it was about admissions for Tulane.
Yeah.
Starting next year. So what is the class of 2021? Those students applying at Tulane, it will be optional to submit a standardized test score, SAT or ACT, and it will not hurt you in any way to not submit an ACT or SAT score. So again, because I think the bullshit of standardized testing is starting to be, the veil's lifted a little bit. Like, this really isn't a great indicator of intelligence. I mean, it can be. It certainly can be. It's not terrible, but it's not the end all be all. There's a lot of other factors at play, and I think it's probably a good thing that that they're looking at the student through a different lens, as opposed to saying, well, you don't have a 27 or greater, so off you go. You're off the list. They're going to look at everybody and be like, all right, well, you got a decent GPA. You were, in the 20th percentile of your class. You wrote a hell of an essay here. We really enjoyed reading that. And you had all this service stuff that you did, and you were a leader, and you were a captain of your football team. Yeah, come on in. That's a better approach than be like, well, you didn't get 27 or higher. Fuck you. Get out of here. That's the wrong way.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think where you look at the kid who can write a really good essay and the kid who was also the captain of his football team and who also contributed to his community and did this and this and that, probably also paid attention in class and got pretty good grades and probably tested pretty well. Like, that's where that test score comes from. Somebody that got a 27 probably was able to do all those other things. There's probably not a lot of kids who did all those other things and got an 18 on their AC. Like, it just doesn't work that way. Like, if you did all these other things, you're probably responsible enough to also get halfway decent grades. Maybe not. There's some exception where you just didn't excel and whatever.
Yeah, the problem with the test is that there are those kids that check every box that you just listed, right? That they paid attention in class. They were involved in the community. They did everything right, right? Everything is there. They're just shitty at taking standardized tests.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can't really identify with that. I don't really I don't know what that's like to be a shitty test taker, but I guess that's a thing. I've heard that. So
my son, Chuck, is one of those people, and he has been forever. He's been that way. I mean, even whenever he was in grade school, like little bitty guy, the teachers would tell us, like, yeah, he just really takes a long time for tests, and they're multiple choice tests, but he just he overthinks too much. And that's it. That's a simple. I think every teacher we've talked to about this are like, we know what the problem is. We just, he's not willing to commit to an answer. He sits there and he ponders things a little too long. He talks himself out of the right answer, and that's the definition of a shitty test taker. And there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make him dumb. It's just, he's an overthinker. So if you were to formulate those questions in a different manner, and not put a time frame on it, right? Not put a clock behind you, then you could get a completely different result, you know. But if you put them through this ringer of like, you got to fill in these circles, you got to do all of them in this amount of time, and you got to make sure you're picking the right answer out of 4 or 5, whatever the fuck it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, that's a lot of pressure for a fucking 17-year-old, you know. That's that's a lot. And some of them handle it without any issues, and others don't. So, you know, but that's why we're still working on getting more coaching and prep coaching or ACT prep classes and stuff, even though it seems like that the way that some of these universities are going is they're doing away with it. But anyway, we are way the fuck over.
Yeah, we're 2 hours in. So, well, we appreciate you sticking with us if you did. Hopefully you did. I don't know if we'll split this one up or not. We kind of did have a pretty delineated time where we started talking about education again, but maybe we'll split it up, maybe not.
We'll talk about it later.
Last time we kind of posted 2 episodes at the same time. I don't know how that worked out for you guys. If you appreciated having more content all at once, would you wanted us to hold off and post one later? I don't know.
Yeah, they should probably let us know.
Let us know. How can they let us know, Ryan?
They would probably send us an email, loadthispodcast@gmail.com, or they would send us a message on one of them social media things at Load This Podcast. But the other...
we need to get active on Instagram again.
Yeah. The other thing is not just, send this message on there. We never tell people to like follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Why have we never said this to these people before?
We're kind of a shitty follow at this point. I mean, let's be serious.
Well, maybe if we saw an uptick in followers, we'd start to produce some fucking content, you know?
Yeah, it's true. I think we need to get the content out there so they see it and want to follow. We can't say follow us first.
There was plenty of content before and they didn't follow. It's chicken or the egg thing. I delivered. You used to. I don't anymore, but I used to deliver. Kristen's delivered a lot of content. Yeah. You pricks weren't there. So now it's your turn. If you really want more of that shit, come on, follow us. We'll publish it.
And everybody's bored now. They're all sitting at home, so we should be just pumping content out and they'll soak it up.
This fucking Dave Portnoy guy. You know who this guy is? Yes. On Barstool Sports, right? Yeah. I mean, this motherfucker's got 35,000 people watching him open boxes every fucking night of this coronavirus shit.
Yeah.
30,000 people. Think about how many people are watching I don't know, pick a sitcom on any show. Pick a show on True TV. Do you think that there's 35,000 people watching that shit live? I'm going to say it's a push. Maybe not. I don't know.
The depressing thing is you thought podcasts were flooded before or social media content was flooded before. Try to stand out now among every motherfucker is sitting at home right now posting videos of them playing this song or talking about this or reenacting this movie clip or whatever. Like, oh my God, the content is tenfold higher now.
Yeah, here's another point for all you people out there in coronavirus land. With the social media account, nobody gives a fuck about your cat or your dog. Nobody fucking cares. We don't care. Stop posting pictures of that shit. Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
Because you know what? If we do like dogs and cats, we got our own, and ours is cuter, and we don't really want to see your fucking dog. You know? Really? Actually, I wouldn't mind.
Is that a jab at Kristen?
I haven't seen.
Nobody wants to see your fucking dog.
Has she posted the dog recently? I'm sorry if it's the case.
Probably.
Dogs, I don't mind. Post all the dogs you want, but fuck cats. Those fucking cats are useless, deviant little motherfuckers. There's no good that comes out of cats. Nobody wants to see your fucking cat. Everybody's like, oh, look how cute he is. He's helping me in the office today, laying on my keyboard. That's because that cat's a cocksucker, and you need to put that motherfucker in its box. Yeah. My dog never lays on my keyboard. Never.
No, that doesn't happen.
She could. And the big one, he never does either, probably because he can't get up on the desk. But either way, they're both well-behaved, obedient animals because they love me and they want to make me happy. Cats are assholes, and they just want to fuck your day up. So fuck cats.
Yeah, fuck cats. I've been saying that for years.
All you cat owners out there, this is the anti-cat podcast. All you cat owners out there who are going to say something like, well, but no, my cat's different. It acts just like a dog. Fuck you. Get a fucking dog.
Mm-hmm.
All right, enough of that shit.
All right. Well, again, we appreciate you listening unless you own a cat. Then fuck you.
Yeah, you might be done now. So.
Yeah. But for all you non-cat lovers out there, thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing and following us on all the social media. And hopefully you're getting through this one day at a time, just like the rest of us. But until next time, I'm Jared.
And I am Ryan.
And get a load of this.
Yep. There was a meme or something about the, like, what was it? All the tofu was untouched. Like you went to in a grocery store and like all the fucking sour cream and all the French onion dip and all the stuff in the dairy cabinet was all fucking picked over and gone. but like tofu was still there. It's like, you know, even in the worst of times, no one's still eating that garbage.
It is funny, the shit that's completely gone and then the other stuff that's not even really touched. It's like, how desperate are we? You're gonna pass over this. But
flour was probably the most shocking one to me. I was I forget what day it was, over the weekend. I had to go to the store and there's no white flour, just like all purpose flour. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I think it's because everybody's baking. Like people are like, I guess I'm gonna make a cake. I'm gonna make cookies, you know?
Or they at least want to be prepared to if they have to, I guess.
I suppose, but I was like, none, not a package of
that's
flour
weird.
Store. That's a weird one.
I was thinking the other day that because you can still go to the drive-through and get some fast food and whatever and curbside pickup and all that, right? But that's going to change if we hear a story about somebody died and they contracted it from a drive-through or a restaurant or whatever.
Yeah.
Then they're going to crack down on that because they already want to. Like they don't want anybody out, but they're like, well, we can't tell them not to eat, so we got to let them go through a drive-through. But if that happens where somebody dies from a Taco Bell or something, then they're going to shut that down. They're going to be like, grocery stores only. You're going to be, 5 people at a time in the store. There's going to be lines in front of the Schnucks.
I think we're going the other way. I think we're getting to the point where people are well, I don't know if it's getting better, but people are just starting to say, fuck you. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my thing. Don't tell me this is America. Don't tell me this thing, shelter in place, my balls. Right. I'm going out, So like I had to go to Walmart briefly this afternoon. And I just needed a few things and I knew exactly what I was going in for. I was in and out, no fucking around. But all the people, not all of them, I'd say about 60 to 70% of the people that were walking in or walking around the store all were wearing masks.
Wow.
I don't have a mask.
Right.
But I've heard that like Schnucks is going to require it. Like they won't even let you in the fucking store unless you got a mask. And I'm like, so what if you don't have one?
Right.
What do you do? They just going to turn you away? But then I'm looking at some of these people with, their fucking mask on. I'm like, that ain't going to help you. You're wearing a fucking, a bandana. And then I've read and I've heard that they say, oh, that'll work in a pinch. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think that's doing any fucking good. I really don't.
Well, again, it comes down to what is the we've talked about this before. What is the mask doing? Is it preventing germs from getting in and getting out? Maybe, but it's also just keeping you from touching your face and your mouth. And if you have a bandana on, well, that's going to keep you from touching your mouth.
Yeah.
Rubbing your nose just out of instinct or whatever. That'd be
about. Did you see the video of how like a sneeze will transmit through?
I did, yeah.
Talk about some of the worst fear mongering out there. Like that is the most ridiculous thing. They said one model shows that this is like, again, we're back to this modeling shit. It's like, well, what do the other fucking models say? Because, people are fools. Furthermore, there was 2 dudes at the fucking Walmart and they both looked completely unhealthy and completely unclean. I mean, they looked like bums. They just looked like homeless people. And the one guy was a little better looking. He was pushing a cart. I didn't look and see what was in it. The guy behind him had kind of a limp and was like dragging a foot and was just a fucking mess. And I walked by and I have never smelled someone that smelled as bad as this motherfucker. And I know he's down on his luck. I don't want to.
Maybe they were homeless and somebody like gave him $50 and said, "Here, I'm going to take you to the grocery store. You go get what you need."
Maybe
they literally homeless.
That dude smelled like fucking hot garbage, man. Yeah. It was bad. It was like I walked by. I was like, oh my god, and he was right there. And I couldn't hold back my comment. I was like, that's gross, man.
Did you say that out loud?
No, I didn't say fucking gross, but I did say, oh my god, oh my god.
Oh wow.
And I fucking kept on walking.
Did he look at you?
Nah, I don't know. I was like, fuck, I was past them. I didn't see
Yeah,
him.
to me, when I come across someone like that, you tread the line and you sit on the fence between, oh man, this person might actually be homeless. Oh, I kind of feel bad for him, or whatever situation they're in, you know. And then you're like, or they're just an asshole who doesn't care and like won't shower and sits around on their couch at home,
Yeah,
in their own filth and doesn't give a fuck when they go to the store. Like, then you get pissed, you know. But so I don't know. I guess we shouldn't judge either way, right?
yeah. I think it's hard to judge a little. You know, the trusting people,
Yeah.
right? Like, you know, we want you want to say like, well, they're probably homeless, and you know, feel bad for them or whatever, but maybe they're not. You know what? This goes back to the like, you know, we think that like all cops are good, all teachers are good people, all you know, military. No, some of them are assholes.
Yeah.
No, they're not all good. Just because you know you fit into a certain set of circumstances doesn't mean that I should like you. You might be a cocksucker, you know.
I was watching somebody the other day. It might have been Bill Burr. I don't know, but somebody was asking, basically making a comment like that, and it was like, yeah, you can't assume that all whatever are assholes, or that all whatever are good people too. You know, it's like there's great teachers and great police officers, and there's asshole teachers and asshole police officers, and there's great corporate owners and CEOs, and there's asshole CEOs. You know, it's like it's everybody's like that. So
that's right. It's a Bill Burr skit. It's one of his bits from an old special. That's where I've heard it first, I think, or heard it well articulated first was through him. But
speaking of, I want to get into a little bit of that, Bill Burr and some other things. But do you have anything specific you want to talk about? I've hit record already, so these are outtakes now.
Dude, you got to tell me these things.
When we started on grocery stores, I hit record.
Oh, okay. All right. You should just say Mark, you know, or whatever. I don't know. Do like
it's got to be like natural.
An audible clacker, you know. Snap your fingers, sneeze, snort, you know, do that.
Yeah.
Something like that. No, I don't really have much. I mean, I'm sure we'll come up with something. Yeah. I'm sure I got a lot of things to. I mean, the kids landscaping is something, man. These kids got their asses working pretty hard out there, and I was really impressed. I had delivered today. I think it was about 7 tons of rock. Maybe it was 6 or 7, somewhere between there. Yeah, which is a lot. And I'm not done. Tomorrow we're going to get another probably 5 ton.
Wow, where are you putting it?
All the beds around the house. So every place, like in front, I used to have mulch. But mulch sucks, man. So mulch is a young man's landscaping tool. Whenever I was younger, I was able to refresh it every couple years or whatever, keep it nice, and I like the way it looks. But I'm just tired of fucking with it. So I took the end of the summer, like early fall last year, I took all the mulch out of the backyard. I took all the weed mat up. I took it down to bare dirt, put down fresh weed mat, and I just kind of left it. And my intentions were in the spring I was going to buy new rock and re-rock it and some new plants and stuff. Well, so then I was like, well, getting ready to do that. I was like, well, fuck it. Well, I got this help here, and I got them captive. They can't go anywhere. So I was like, hey boys, why don't you take all this out too in the front? So now we've done all of the back, basically all the way around the house, the whole. Except for where the deck is and where the driveway is, but pretty much the entire lap around the house is getting re-rocked or rocked. Damn. So it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. And the weed mat was done. They finished that up today, but I had $100 worth of weed mat, you know, and then and the rock just today, not even the full order, was like $500. Actually, it was $589, almost $600, and I still got to buy another probably $400 or $500 more tomorrow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago. I came to the opinion that I don't want to do rock anymore. Now, I'm with you. Mulch is a young man's landscaping tool, because you got to keep up with it. And I've decided on that too. I'm like, Kristen every year asks, well, I don't know. What do you want to do? What should we do here with this landscape? What should we do over there? And I'm like, nothing, because you're not going to keep up with it. And I'm sure as fuck not going to. And it's going to just look like shit after a while. I'm tired of landscaping. Now, what I learned was we had a bunch of rock at our old house, and Kristen is way too fickle. Every year or two, she changes her mind about what she wants to see or what color it should be or whatever. And I've shoveled gravel out of a bed one too many times, and I'm not going to fucking do it ever again. So I'm not putting gravel down unless we're
So I would tell her
selling the house.
that pick a rock, probably white would be a good choice. And if you ever change your mind on what type of rock you want, then that you better be prepared to find a new husband too.
Yeah, right.
Because if this rock goes, I'm going with it. So that's kind of. I mean, I've learned a lot of lessons too. Mine's not landscaping materials, the rock versus mold. That's my choice. Like that was my doing. Now, if I had to go back 15 years ago when I did all this stuff originally, I did it myself, and I was number one. I did mulch because A, it was cheap, and two, I could do it because I was young and had all this energy. But if I could do it all over again, I would probably just start with rock and made it a lot easier. But she put on these the big fountain grasses. Well, you got one. The one in your front.
Oh my god, we got them backyard, front yard, side yard.
I fucking hate those things. Yours is nice. Yours is wonderful. It's beautiful, right? No, I fucking hate them. I can't. So we had them all over the house, and they got ridiculously out of hand. And I told her when we bought them, I was like, I hate those fucking things. They grow like crazy. You can't fucking control them. And she's like, oh, but they're so pretty, and they get the fucking horse tails or whatever the fuck they call them on, in the fall. I don't give a shit. Don't give a shit about any of that. And so finally I talked her into taking them all out. We took them out, and I said, never again. I'm not doing that shit anymore. The same with knockout rose bushes. So they seem like a great idea because they grow really fast. They got pretty on them. The flowers last for like the whole summer. They're pretty, but they grow like crazy, and you can't kill them. You can't get rid of the motherfuckers. So I had to literally tie one to the back of my truck.
Yeah, pull it out of the ground.
And then the one in the backyard, I couldn't get my truck back there, so I had to just took a fucking axe to it, just kept digging and put up the roots until I finally got rid of it all. It's like no more easy stuff. I'm getting old. Can't handle this shit anymore.
We've got that ornamental grass all over, right in front of the porch, right around the electrical box. We've got it around the trampoline. We've got it different places. But the only place, so the one in front of the porch, that whole little bed there, it's like, I don't know, 8 feet wide or whatever, is mulch, right? So it's like 4 by 8 foot rectangle of mulch. And that used to just be like a little foot diameter puff of ornamental grass, and it has spread and damn near filled that whole thing up with and that shit's thick and goes deep in the ground. But all the other places where we've got it, it just sort of stays where we put it. I mean, it's grown bigger, but it's mostly right there, but we don't have it in mulch, just in the ground with grass around it. So you can mow right up to it and kind of keep it the way you want it. But that shit in that mulch bed just expanded and grew beyond. And I mean, to get rid of that now would be a nightmare.
Yeah, digging it up sucks. Trust me, I've done it. The good news is when I dug up the last ones, I have an electric box that I share with Joe. It's right on the property line, and so I dug the one up. I cut it into 4 pieces and I put it like on the corners of the electric box, hoping that it would grow and obscure the electrical box. And now the prick decides not to grow. Now it decides it's gonna slow down. I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah, those are the ones that have grown the least on ours, is the ones around the electric box. Maybe it's the current or something slows it down. Who knows? All right, let's start.
Sure.